Bless you.
It'll be just a scratch before playing the community calendar, getting that in. And good evening, everyone. Mike Winters here with you, or we are breaking into normally rescheduled programming tonight to bring to you the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association Municipal Candidate Forum, which is taking place right now live at the Pueblo Auditorium here at the RISD Admin Building. It starts here at 6, and tonight we're going to have questions being asked by the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association. Rick Kraft will be moderating tonight. He's going to be asking questions to candidates for the upcoming school board election, also for the mayoral race, and all 5 city council spots. So at this time, I would like to turn the program over to our moderator for tonight's event, Mr. Rick Kraft.
Good evening, and welcome to the 2025 Leadership Roswell Alumni Association Candidate Forum. We're glad that those of you who are here in the audience, we welcome those of you that are watching at home online. Tonight we're going to have candidates for both the municipal election as well as the Roswell Independent School Districts Board. My name is Rick Kraft. I am the Executive Director of the Leadership Roswell program, and I've been asked to be the moderator here this evening. Next year we'll be voting on national and state elections, but tonight's about local elections. I've heard it said many times of those 3 levels that the most important elections are local elections because they affect our community and directly impact each of us more than the state and the national. We're going to start this evening with the opening flag ceremony by the New Mexico Military Institute cadets, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll have the national anthem sung by Cisco Brink, and the opening prayer will be by Chris Lefko, the pastor of First Baptist Church of Roswell. If you stand at this time for the colors to come forward.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave a proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
should be. See, it's not connected. It's not connected.
Would you bow with me in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your goodness and faithfulness at work in our lives. We thank you for your grace over our city. We thank you for the wonderful people who make up this great community, the hard workers, the caring families, the passionate professionals, and the humble individuals who call this place home. We also thank you for the leaders in our midst tonight who have chosen to serve in whatever capacity you would allow to make our community a better place. Tonight we seek your wisdom as we listen to many candidates for various positions of influence and stewardship. Give us discernment to choose those who would honor you in their decisions and put others first in their convictions. We ask that you would cover and bless this event with understanding, with love, with patience, and with unity. Bring us together to seek your will for Roswell and its people. And I ask this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Gathering, coming together this evening, all of us here are focused on the future of our community. I've been blessed to live in Roswell for 43 years, and I, like many of you here, believe it's the best place in the world to live. What happens this evening and what happens in the next 5 weeks will determine the future of our community with the election on November 4th. As I indicated earlier, there's two elections going on the ballots. One is the Roswell Independent School District Board, and the other are the municipal and city elections. There's also a mill levy that will be on your ballot also, and I'll touch on that later. At the outset, Leadership Roswell Alumni Association and I want to encourage each one of you to get out and vote, and encourage all your friends and family to get out and vote also. The Leadership Roswell Alumni Association has been conducting these forums since 1996. That's 29 years, and this is the 38th forum that the Alumni Association has done. After tonight, we'll have asked questions of 426 candidates running for 198 positions, all the way from the local level up to the national level. The Leadership Roswell Alumni Association is a nonpartisan organization that consists of graduates of the Leadership Roswell program, which is a Roswell Chamber of Commerce program. Now in its 43rd year, there's 1,089 graduates, and there's 30 students going through the program right now. The Leadership Roswell program appreciates our community, and the program works because of many of you here in the community stepping up and helping with the program. The goal this evening is to inform and educate each of you in an impartial setting on an even playing field that's fair to each candidate. You'll be able to see each of the candidates side by side running for the different positions this evening. Many of you are familiar with the format. Some of you are not. What we do is we allow each of the candidates up here to give an opening comments, and then we'll ask between 4 to 6 questions based upon what position they're running for, and then each of the candidates will be allowed time for their closing. None of the candidates know what the questions are. They've been put together by a committee of the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association, and the questions have been given to me, and as I said, none of them know ahead of time. When I met with the candidates before going on the air, I told them that when I read the first question, I'm going to read it slowly. It's not because I'm slow necessarily, but I'm trying to give them a few extra seconds to figure out what the answers are. The format tonight is a forum. It's not a debate. A few things I want to touch on before we get going. If you have your cell phone with you, please turn the ringer off so we're not disturbed by that. And also, we're asking that you do not clap for any single candidate. When we get through with each panel, we'll have a chance to clap collectively. I'm amazed at the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association. The board votes each year whether or not to do this, and as soon as the vote was cast to do the candidate forum this year, a bunch of people just started working hard. I didn't count the emails, but I think I got somewhere between 250 and 300 of these people going back and forth, making sure everything's together. I want to thank Logan Mitchell, who's chaired this committee, and also Hannah Kennan, who's been his right arm throughout this. There are a lot of people here in the sanctuary, or in the auditorium, back in the green room and out front, If you're involved on the Leadership Roswell board or in putting this together, stand up and let's give this group a round of applause. I know two in the front row that didn't stand up, but most of the rest of them are in the back here. I also want to thank a few others. We appreciate Roswell Independent School District hosting this. Brian Luck, thank you for opening the doors to have the forum here this evening. I also want to thank Pecos Valley Broadcasting. They're making this forum live on the air on 106.5. It's also on their website, ksvptv.com. So many are watching at home or watching on their computers. If any of you miss any of the program tonight or want to go back and watch it, then you'll be able to watch it on their website. I also appreciate the Roswell Day Records coverage. They're here this evening. They did a story on Friday. And most importantly, I appreciate all the candidates. It's a lot easier to be sitting out there trying to figure out how you'd answer the questions than it is sitting up here in front of the bright lights. But for those on stage and those in the back, let's give them a round of applause and thank them for coming out tonight. There are 5 Roswell Independent School Districts. 3 of the district seats are up for election this year, Districts 1, 3, and 5. So I guess I'd refer to this as an odd year. If you don't know what district you're in, and many of you may not, you can log on to nmvote.org. I'll repeat that several times this evening. I logged onto that last week. I put in my name, my address, and it told me the 13 voting locations that I can vote at. It told me exactly what was going to be on the ballot when I vote. The county clerk's office, which also oversees this, could be called on that. So we're going to start with the candidates seeking election for District 1 in the Roswell Independent School District. There are 3 candidates. One of them is Randy Donald Bunch. He accepted the invitation to come participate this evening, but he's not here this evening. So let me introduce you to the 2 candidates that are present here this evening. On my far right is Mona Kirk, and on her left is Sarah MacArthur. At this time, we'll give each of them a minute and a half to share their comments. I did apologize to all the candidates before we went on the air because we adhere very strictly to the time. We've got cards down there, and I don't know who's going to run over tonight, but I'm probably going to have to cut some people off. But Ms. Kirk, your opening comments?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Leadership Roswell and the Alumni Board for allowing us to have this forum and RISD for hosting. I am a lifetime resident of Roswell. I graduated from Roswell schools along with my siblings, my niece, nephew, and my son. My son is now serving a year in Somalia, Africa. After graduation, I went to ENMU. I received my bachelor's of education in education and then my master's in elementary education. From there, I went on to teach, and I came back to Roswell and finished up my career as an administrator. While administrating, I received the distinct pleasure of receiving the nomination for Elementary Principal of the Year, and in 2010, that was quite an honor. I retired after several years from the district, and then I'm sitting here watching time and going, oh my gosh. And then I decided to run for school board. So I served 6 years on the board, and I'm not finished. The first thing I did while serving on the board, I took us online. We now have meetings. Our meetings are televised. We have policy service that is online, so you can go check our policies online. We no longer have a 3-inch binder. And then I also came up with a resolution to allow all artwork from CLC Arts Connect
Thank you, Ms.
in the
Cook.
boardroom. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear opening comments from Ms. MacArthur.
Thank you. Thank you to the Roswell Leadership Alumni Association and the Roswell School District for hosting us. I'm Sarah MacArthur. and I'm looking for your vote because I'm running for the school board. I have served our country in uniform. I've guided cadets at NMMI. I've worked as an administrative law judge, as a county director for the Income Support Office, Human Services Department, and as a caseworker there. I am here to ensure fairness for all New Mexico families. I also raised my son here, and he went all the way through public schools, and he's got his master's degree. So I'm very proud of him. I believe in protecting academic freedom, supporting teachers, and ensuring every child, regardless of their zip code, has access to opportunity. I'm not here to play politics. This is a nonpartisan race. I'm here to build bridges, restore trust, and make our schools places of renewal and empowerment. My vision is every child, every mind, every opportunity, and I want to bring transparency to funding, elevate arts and STEM, and ensure mental health and special education are never afterthoughts. I'll fight to keep the fair wages, safe classrooms, and curriculum that sparks curiosity, not censorship. Thank you.
The first question will be asked first of Ms. Kirk. What knowledge do you have of the duties and responsibilities of the position of a school board member? What specifically would you have control over, and what would you not have control over?
So the school board has many obligations, but we have three major jobs. One is the hiring, firing of the superintendent. We have set school board policy, and we have our third one is to approve the budget. Those three are extremely important. In addition to those three jobs, we must serve on other committees that also allow us to serve the community. We have to serve as on the budget committee, we have to serve on the audit committee, and we have other community services. It is extremely important that we show up for every board meeting prepared to educate and to live up to those expectations of us as we cast our vote. I too am for every child. My past history speaks for itself. I've served long and hard, and I am a community member, and I serve those in my district. Thank you.
Ms. MacArthur?
Do I get the question again?
Sure. What knowledge do you have of the duties and responsibilities of the position of a school board member? What specifically would you have control over, and what would you not have control over?
As Mona said, there are three areas that that a board member actually has control over. It's the budget, which we all know is the most important thing. We have to have money to operate. We do hire and suggest to the superintendent better ways to do things in the future. And we also write policies based on what is happening, what's current, what's available to our students at that time and to our teachers. And so I feel like the job is to listen, is to really understand what the issues are and to figure out how to make decisions that will benefit the majority of people. So, I can't remember all of that. Sorry. I looked that up. It's on the website. So you can actually look that up and see that those are the duties of a board member. I do know that we're obligated during the year to attend classes and training and get taught how to do those things. So I'm coming into it kind of blind, but I feel like my past experiences as an officer in the Army and as a county director for a welfare office are well suited to being able to analyze information and figure out what's best to do. Thank you.
The second question will be asked first of Ms. MacArthur. How much time should be spent on Roswell Independent School District's long-term goals, and what would you rank as the top two goals for the district?
Obviously, I think that the longest term goal is to educate our children and have their test scores or their graduation rates be increased. Those are important because those children that are in school now are going to be running our country at some point. So we need to get it right. And we need to make sure that we can do those things. So whatever that means, or however that translates into a long-term goal, I don't have any yet because I'm not on the board. But I feel like children need to we need to make sure they have every opportunity to be able to be educated to the best of our ability. And that is what I want to focus on. Thank you.
Ms. Cook?
So our long-term goal should be look at the data. The data tells the story of how the district is doing, and it is our job as board members to request that we get current information upon assessments from each of the schools so we can evaluate how the schools are doing and provide help where it's needed. That is the job of the superintendent, a board superintendent, teachers on down. We must listen to what's going on, what's needed in the district to help lend our support where we can. It is imperative that we raise our test scores. Our reading and math scores are abysmal. We've got to do something different. So if we continue doing the same thing we're doing now, we're going to get the same results. So it's time we look at what's going on and we as board members make some difficult decisions on what we need to do to help improve that and support the staff. We have excellent teachers in our buildings. What we need to do is support them so they can do their job. Thank you.
The third question will be asked first of Ms. Kirk. In light of the numerous lockdowns that regularly occur in our schools, how should the school district correct the lack of transparency to the parents as these lockdowns occur?
So we're very fortunate in Roswell. We've rebuilt nearly every single one of our elementary, middle school, and the only two high schools we don't have the high schools. We haven't remodeled them. But we have secure vestibules. We have secure entrance. So you do have to be rang in to get in. Now, is that totally secure? No. If a active shooter wants in, they're going to find a way. But what we can do is implement the strategies we have and the knowledge we have to make our schools more secure. It is very scary. Yes, we all know we've had one shooting here in Roswell. We know there's been several throughout the state. And the last thing we want to do is have that happen again. So it's up to us as the board to ensure that we have safe schools and we continue to provide safety training for each of our schools. Thank you.
Ms. MacArthur? In light of the numerous lockdowns that regularly occur in our schools, how should the school district correct the lack of transparency to the parents as these lockdowns occur?
Okay. I'm not entirely sure that the parents are not being informed at the appropriate times as they're able to while the school's currently in a lockdown situation trying to keep their child safe. So they may not be able to know 30 seconds after it happens that there's a lockdown. I mean, that's just a little bit of the way things maneuver. And my preference would be tell me as soon as they're safe as a parent. And so I feel like, I know the school has been working hard to make sure that active shooters can't get into the schools. I don't know what that program is entirely, but I believe that the school system is addressing the fears that we have as community members, and they are making it so that you have to sign in, you have to show an ID, you can't just walk into a school. And I feel like students that go in there are being addressed by the staff and faculty and parents even, and their friends through the use of social media if there's a problem. And I feel like that has reduced the number of actual shootings in our schools. So.
The fourth and final question will be asked first of Ms. MacArthur. The White House has said that it intends to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education. Describe how public schools in Roswell will be affected. What actions should the school board take to offset any possible negative impacts from a national level?
Wow. They've already dismantled a number of things from the Department of Education, which is going to impact every American. And that's not a good thing. And so we can ask for money from the state. We do get significant money from the state, and we can continue to ask our legislators to fight to get us money back from the federal government. It is not a good thing that they're trying to get rid of the funding that causes the IEPs to be funded from the federal government. I don't have all those answers, and I think that we're all in a critical mass time in terms of having decisions made such as that harm all of us, not just the students, but the whole community, when we don't have money coming in to pay the teachers or the special ed teachers or any of that. We need to think seriously about what it is that we're doing. That's my answer.
Ms. Cook?
Yes, I'm in favor of dismantling. I think that money would be better spent at the local level. Give it to the schools. Let the schools give it to the state. Let the state then give it to the schools. More money in our schools means more resources, plain and simple. So yes, I'm in favor of dismantling. I think it gives us more local control, and that's one thing we desperately need from the federal level to the state level is more local control with our school boards so we can do what we know in Southeast New Mexico is best for our children. So I'm all for it.
At this time, we'll give each of the candidates 1 minute to share closing thoughts that they have. Let me call first on Ms. Kirk.
Yes, I want to continue my statement from before. I am a master board member. That means I have completed over 20 hours of master board training. I also finished, I would believe my number one, I protect parental rights, I advocate for local control, I prioritize academic success, promote fiscal responsibility, efficiency, and accountability. I would appreciate your vote, and I look forward to seeing you at the polls. One last thing, I also serve on the Extraterritorial Zoning Commission. I am a board member for the Assurance Home. I am first vice chair of the Republican Party. I am membership chair of the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. I am chair of the Elks Club Scholarship Program, and I am I serve on the New Mexico State Children's Trust Fund Board. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Ms. MacArthur?
Thank you. I would just say that that money that's gone from the federal government is gone. It's not coming here locally, just so you know. But I will say that I'm not just running for the school board. I'm running for every parent who's felt unheard, for every teacher who's stretched too thin, and every student who deserves to have more than the bare minimum. I'll show up with integrity, listen with humility, and lead with courage. I'll turn frustration into action and bureaucracy into ritual. If you believe in critical thinking over fear, inclusion over division, and opportunity for all, then I ask for your vote. Let's build something beautiful together.
On behalf of the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association, those here this evening in the audience and our community, thank you both for putting your names out and your commitment to our community seeking the District 1 Board of Directors position.
Good job.
Next, we'll ask questions of the two candidates for the Roswell School District Board of Directors, District 3. Let me introduce you to the candidates. Closest to me on the right is Alicia Cesares Gilmore, and farther from me on your right, John A. Cheney. At this point, we'll begin with opening comments. Let me start first with Ms. Gilmore, your opening thoughts.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Cáceres Gilmore, and I'm running for Independent School District of Roswell, District 3. Thank you to the voters for being here this evening, as well as the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association. I believe the most meaningful work often begins with the hardest challenges, but I don't see challenges as obstacles. I see them as opportunities to create lasting change for our students and our families. As a proud product of the Roswell public school system, I carry both gratitude and responsibility. I know firsthand how powerful a strong education can be, and I'm committed to protecting and advancing those opportunities for every student in our RISD. The role of the nonpartisan board is to support students, empower educators, and earn the trust of families. That requires objectivity, collaboration, and the courage to adapt when circumstances shift, while still maintaining financial stability for the long-term health of our district. Most importantly, we must ensure that every student is seen, valued, and prepared to thrive in today's complex world. That is the vision I bring, and that is the work I am ready to do. Thank you.
Mr. Cheney, your opening comments?
Good evening. My name is Jack Cheney, and I am running for School Board District 3 here in Roswell. And I, again, thank everyone for coming out here tonight and showing up, everyone online. Thank you to the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association for hosting this event to get to meet the candidates who are running for these positions. I am your current school board president, and I have served in that position for 2 years. And I'm excited to get the opportunity to come back and serve again. Serving on the school board is important to me because the kids are our future, and we all are up here to serve the kids.
The first question will be asked first of Ms. Gilmore. What knowledge do you have of the duties and responsibilities of the position of a school board member? What specifically would you have control over, and what would you not have control over?
Thank you for the question. The job of the school board is mainly the budget, policy, and ensuring the safety of our students. I would say that ensuring the safety of our students and the budget are the two most important topics for us to consider each month meeting at our school board meetings. I believe that we should strategize with police to make schools more secure and hire a new safety liaison. I would like to also have new data generated for the school system so we can make some changes based on what's current in our school system.
Mr. Cheney?
Can I get the question again, please?
Sure. What knowledge do you have of the duties and responsibilities of the position of a school board member? What specifically would you have control over, and what would you not have control over?
So again, I've been your school board president for 2 years now, and so I'm very familiar. We've been under the new training requirements to attend countless hours of training, state-mandated training in all subject matter areas. There's questions on finance, questions on policy. Really, those are our big ones. Is we have the control over the shape of the budget, and we get to help write, craft, and implement policies that affect the safety of children and their ability, our ability to help remove hindrances to their learning.
The second question will go first to Mr. Cheney. Do you think the current disciplinary measures available to Roswell Independent School District staff are adequate?
No. Nothing, I mean, adequate, yes, they're probably adequate. Is anything ever in a final state? No, I think there's always ways to improve, always ways to relook at it and find ways to adjust and to meet the kids where they are in their situation. No student situation is similar. We can't just form a formula and run every kid through the same formula. We have to really tailor some of the disciplinary actions to the kid in the situation.
Ms. Gilmore?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Do you think the current disciplinary measures available to Roswell Independent School District staff are adequate?
As a mother of 2 children in the school district, I would like to see more adequate disciplinary actions for our teachers, and that could be put in policy and enforced in a better way than it currently is. Thank you.
The third question will be asked first of Ms. Gilmore. What is your plan for allocating and spending wisely the funds available to Roswell Independent School District?
Well, I believe the most important age group is early development pre-K. And so I would like to see funds allocated where they're needed. I believe that pre-K is very important so that we can have proficiency in reading by the 3rd grade. And I would also like to see each school have all their needs met depending on how many students they have. Thank you.
Mr. Cheney?
Allocating the budget is absolutely a very important job of the school board. Getting to decide what programs we favor, or how, because there's only a certain amount of money that we get down from the state, and how that gets divided up is a very important job. I am in favor of increasing funding for CTE projects, for providing kids an opportunity to advance themselves and better themselves beyond just going through school, just to go to more school, just to spend money on college that might not be the best fit for all of our students. So expanding their pathways to, if they want to go to college, make sure we have a pathway for that, but make sure we have fully funded CTE programs.
The fourth and final question will go first to Mr. Cheney. What is your opinion of the long-term goals of Roswell Independent School District, and do you support them or feel that they should be modified?
Again, goals should always be evaluated. There comes a point in time when you fulfill the goal and you need to change the goal. Our current plan is a 7-year plan that we're working on that has key points, that is driven by data, and we're evaluating those. We're looking at the things that we are doing and how we can improve on those. A lot of the systems that were put in place are working, and our data is showing that the things that we are doing are improving our reading scores for our kids.
Ms. Gilmore?
Can you repeat that question, Mr. Kraft?
Sure. What is your opinion of the long-term goals of Roswell Independent School District, and do you support them or do you feel that they should be modified?
So the board goals: Goal 1, strategic planning; Goal 2, utilizing board self-evaluation data generated in July 2017. Goal 3, improve district culture. Goal 4, create educational foundation to benefit the Roswell Independent Schools. To me, this needs to be updated more recently than eight years. 8 years is a long time to collect data and go off of that data, especially after a year like COVID. So I believe that we do need to modify our board goals and figure out what needs to be done. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have closing comments from both candidates. We'll give them each 1 minute. Ms. Gilmore?
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. I chose to run for RISD District 3 because District 3 deserves someone who will listen, collaborate, and put people before politics. As a mom with 2 kids in this district, I know what it's like to sit at the kitchen table helping with homework, listening to their excitement as they learn something new, and to worry about whether their school has everything it needs. Those experiences drive me to want a better life for every family here. If elected, I will keep communication open, stand with our teachers and staff, and always put the safety and well-being of our students first. I will fight for resources that make our school stronger and ensure that every student, whether they're headed to college, a trade, or the workforce, has a real pathway to success. I would be honored to earn your votes, so together we can create a future our children deserve. Thank you.
Mr. Cheney?
Thank you. I again thank everyone for coming out tonight and supporting the process we have here in this country, that we get to hear from candidates directly and put our vote behind the candidate that most aligns with our values. I don't think we can go wrong with any candidate that's been on stage tonight. Thank you all for coming out, and I appreciate it.
On behalf of those here this evening in our community, we appreciate both of you putting your names in, running for the board position for District 3. Good luck to both of you. The District 5 candidate for the Roswell Independent School District Board is James Edward. He's running unopposed. He's here. We'd like to give him a couple minutes to share some thoughts with you. Let's congratulate Mr. Edwards for serving another term.
Good evening. Can't start anything off without giving thanks to the Almighty upstairs for giving us this day. I'm running unopposed, but I'm going to give you a little history about myself. I was born and raised in Roswell. As a child, I attended Edgewood Elementary, Mesa Middle School, and graduated from Roswell High School. I also went to Goddard. I graduated in 1985. I then went on to New Mexico Highlands University, got my degrees there. I am currently employed by Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. And I'm also a veteran. I've served in the armed forces. But the one thing I'm going to tell you the reason I'm running, and I wanted to get an explanation out, is I had a bunch of kids come to me over at Roswell High. Hey, Mr. Edwards, are you going to give me my diploma this year? They know the red shoes, but I also, and that's the reason I was running. My intent was not to run, but when those kids came to me, it was right here. So that's why I'm running. I want to give back to my community. I think we live in a great community. And I think we have a good school board, and we have a good school district. The one thing I want to emphasize is we need to start listening to our kids a lot more, because those kids come to me and tell me some amazing stories, and our staff. But I'm really running for those kids that don't have a voice, and for the staff that don't have a voice. Can we improve? We can always improve. But I'm running because of the kids that came in, approached me. And again, thank you for the sponsorship from Leadership Roswell, Alumni Association, for hosting this forum. 1 second. And we need to have more forums like this, and we need to be more open. But listen to your kids and listen to those people that are in need, and we can help make this place a whole lot better. Thank you.
We will now move to the municipal elections. There's 6 contested city positions. There are 15 candidates seeking these 6 positions. Each of you here within city limits live in a different ward. Again, you can look at nmvote.com. You can call our county clerk if you have questions over which ward you will be voting in. All of you will vote for the mayor who lives within the city limits. We're going to move to the candidates for Ward 1. Jeremy Howe informed us yesterday that he is exiting the race for city council. So there will be 2 candidates on the ballot. when you go to vote if you live in Ward 1. Let me introduce them to you. We've got Christina A. Arnold, the incumbent, and Jeffrey S. Cabana. We'll start with opening comments, and we'll begin first with Councilor Arnold. Your opening thoughts?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kraft. As he noted, my name is Christina Arnold. I am your current Roswell City Councilor for Ward 1, and I kind of wanted to make some comments for those who don't know about me. I graduated from Roswell High. My family name is Arnold, and we have been here since 1938. I'm very proud to serve Roswell, and I truly appreciate the opportunity that I've had over the last 4 years to become closer to the constituents, to learn more about this community. And I just kind of wanted to basically put out there why I decided to run again. Initially, when I first ran, my slogan was right for Roswell. And so as someone who self-actualizes, I really took a good minute to ask myself, are you still right for Roswell? And I believe that the experience I've had over the 4 years, my dedication to leaving things better than I found them, and then just making sure, because there's still work to be done, and I am committed to Roswell. So I'm out here again. Thank you.
Mr. Cabana?
Hello, my name is Jeffrey Cabana. I was originally born, raised, and educated in Worcester, Massachusetts. You might remember the name of that city because that's where Robert H. Goddard was born. And just like Robert Goddard, I moved to Roswell. I chose to come here and build my life. I love this town. I fell in love with this town in my first week here, and I plan on staying. You know, I'm not claiming to be a rocket scientist, okay? But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see our city's in a bad position. You know, our current council will raise your taxes, even though 99.9% of you don't want that, and say things like, well, that's why we were elected, to make the tough decisions. No, you weren't. You were elected to do what the people want. If you vote for me, I will even vote against my own opinion, my own interest, if that is the will of the people. Because that's what we're put into this position and this seat for. That's what I want the seat for, is to do the will of the people. I don't want Roswell to keep on this downward trajectory that we all know it's going. Our city is constantly broke, never has enough money, and I think we can reverse that using basic, simple economics. Another way we can change things in this town that I'm a huge advocate for is voluntarism. Don't ask the government to do something that we can do ourselves. You know, if we do something rather than ask the government, it costs a fraction of the cost, and we feel good about ourselves and about our community. A lot of people talk about community. Only very few are community and are about community.
Thank you, Mr. Cabana. Those of you in Ward 1, there is a third candidate, Jerry D. Jano. He was invited to come participate in our forum this evening, and he had to decline because he's out of town. So we'll now move to the questions. We'll ask 4 questions of Ward 1. The first question will go first to Councilor Arnold. Outside the UFO Festival and the air races, are we doing enough to promote economic development in our community? And are we spending our city funds effectively on economic development?
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. I'm actually very glad that you asked that question, because the UFO Festival and the air races are a good start. I don't necessarily believe that those are the role of government to, I believe the role of government is to actually support the community in putting those on, but actually to be fiscally sound and to create the revenue we need a UFO Festival and an air race 4 to 5 times a year. And I think the role of the city is to create an environment that's conducive to those community groups who decide to engage in events such as that. And I think that we, as a city, have a lot of work to do on making sure that the support is fair and balanced. That's one thing I've been very big on noting, that we take data, that we actually know how to best support any group who comes, any developer who comes and wants to make Roswell a better place to be.
Mr. Cabana?
Roswell has something that very few cities in the entire world have. It's a household name. It's up there with Paris, New York, Chicago, Boston. You know, we should be utilizing that. Our tourist industry is our lifeline in this town. And we should be encouraging and you know, the city government should be offering any and every kind of discount it can for events that will bring GRT and people into our town. It's not enough to rely on our own citizens and their spending. We want people to come in here and spend their money. And I think we could do a good job by supporting our community to bring more and more people into this community with us. Thank you.
The second question will go first to Mr. Cabana. In your opinion, what is Roswell's biggest asset and biggest liability, and how will you support or address them?
So I was actually asked this the last time I ran the same question in 2017, and my answer is exactly the same. Okay, Roswell's biggest asset, it's people. I have never, ever in my life met a warmer and more welcoming community. I was here 2 weeks walking down the street. I moved here not knowing a single person in this town. Just took a chance. And I had people offering me rides. That doesn't happen where I grew up. I grew up in a huge city. Nobody'd even look at you walking down the street. And unfortunately, it's the same answer as far as liability. I mean, it's the people. Because for every person I meet in this town that says, oh, welcome to Roswell, this is a great community, we love it, I get people that also say, well, why'd you move here? Oh, you should have never left where you came from. Well, you know what? We all want something different in life. And I chose Roswell, and I chose its people.
Councilor Arnold?
Thank you. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. In your opinion, what is Roswell's biggest asset and biggest liability, and how will you support or address them?
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. Actually, Mr. Cabana gave a great answer on the people are an asset, but if we were to look at the city's current assets, I would have to say the Roswell Industrial Air Center is one of our greatest assets. It is also a large liability to ensure that we are maintaining it and utilizing it as the resource that it is. And in my opinion, I believe that it is our oil and gas. I believe with investment into the Roswell Industrial Air Center, it has the ability to actually bring additional GRT revenue, jobs. For me, that's always been a focus. And then, since 1987, there have been reports done on how we can improve. And I truly believe we have leadership in there right now that can actually help us implement those airport plans that can actually build the oil and gas here, the funding and the revenue that it can bring us. Thank you.
The third question will go first to Councilor Arnold.
Okay.
Our community regularly faces homeless and drug problems. What action do you think the city should take in addressing these issues?
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. Homelessness, I was very fortunate to work with Commissioner Dara Dana to take a deep look into our community organizations that are working to address homelessness. And for me, the role of government in addressing that is actually a difficult one, because I think there's avenues where we can work with community, but there's restrictions that are put on government for changing that. So approaching it has to be a little different approach. Working with the community, public safety, making sure our officers having plans, and also I think that there are current concepts that our community is actually addressing. I think that we could really start to look at Sunrise, working with Sunrise, gathering with the community to figure out how to address homelessness. But that is not, there isn't a one-fits-all solution. 2 years of looking into that, and it is a very difficult one, and many communities have it. But I think this is a discussion we need to continuously have. Thank you.
Mr. Cabana?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Our community regularly faces homeless and drug problems. What action do you think the city should take in addressing these issues?
None. We, the citizens, need to address these issues. Now, like I said earlier, when I first moved here, I didn't know a single person. I also didn't have a job lined up. I didn't have a place to live. I just came here. I lived at the Rivers of Life shelter for about 2-3 months. Now I own a house. I actively work with organizations and have since I got here to help with the homeless. I helped set up and start many homeless advocacy programs here, including the Rivers of Life shelter when it moved into what it is now. I was a big part of that program. Every single week I go down on Main Street and I feed the homeless, and I donate my money and my time. And I want to encourage others to do the same exact thing, because that's how we solve things as a community. We do it together. Thank you.
The fourth and final question will go first to Mr. Cabana. To be an effective leader, you must be able to deal with critical people. What do you feel is the best way to handle critical people?
So another thing is, I've been a musician for a long time. I've been booed right off stage. I have no problem with critical people. I have no problem with people not liking me or anything like that. And like I said, I just want to be elected to do what the people want, whether you like me or not. We can do this together, Roswell. Thank you.
Councilor Arnold?
Please repeat the question.
Yes. To be an effective leader, you must be able to deal with critical people. What do you feel is the best way to handle critical people?
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. The best way to handle critical people is to remember your purpose. And one thing about me is when I'm working for my constituents, I'm highly focused. So I understand that people have opinions, and that is absolutely okay, because my continued focus is making sure that I actually am working for the 48,000 people I serve.
Each candidate at this time will be given 1 minute to share their closing comments. We'll start first with Councilor Arnold.
Oh, I get to go first. Okay. Thank you so much for this event, and I appreciate you guys and all the time you spent in doing this. I want to tell the people of Roswell that in the last 4 years, some amazing things have happened. There has actually been some fiscal balance, lots of work on our fiscal state, just a lot of opportunity coming to Roswell, a lot of things that require knowledge and experience. We have to keep moving in that forward trajectory, and that is why I really believe that experience is key for moving us forward. I want to say that I actually will continue with the same focus that I started with. I'm going to continue with a focus in public safety, continue in infrastructure, focusing on antiquated laws and economic growth. Win or lose, I will continue serving Roswell. I love this community passionately. I love taking walks at night down here in the downtown area. I'm truly in love with the community and the place I live. I hope I can count on your continued support, and let's keep Roswell moving together.
Mr. Cabana, your closing thoughts?
Yes. There's a certain reason I chose this color tonight, because I, like most of Roswell, am a blue-collar man. I work hard, pay my rent, pay my mortgage now, but pay my bills. I raise my family. I enjoy my hobbies. But I think this town can do a lot better. I really do. And you know what? My father taught me that when you ask a man for something, you stand and you look him in the eye. Roswell, I would like your vote, please. I will do what you ask. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of those here this evening and our community, we appreciate both your commitment to our community seeking the Ward 1 position. Good luck to both of you. The incumbent for City Councilor Ward 2 is Juliana Halverson. She's running uncontested. We invited her to come share some thoughts with you. Let's congratulate her on serving another term.
Sorry, I'm shorter than Rick. Thank you to the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association for putting this on. I'm not eloquent as speaker as James Edwards, so bear with me. So I want to sincerely thank you for placing your trust and confidence in me. It really is truly an honor. I see a lot of faces out there I know that helped me run and get elected the first round. When this current council first took office, Roswell was facing a deficit of more than $25 million. Today, that number is just under $1 million. Still a deficit, but quite an improvement in 4 years. This remarkable turnaround is a testament to the tough choices we've made together, always with Roswell's future in mind. For the first time in a long time, we can see the light ahead. Our council will continue working to bring our finances into the positives so we can pay our employees what they deserve and invest in the infrastructure that makes our city stronger. We've brought in a lot of projects. We have Built Wise that has like 300 jobs, the Amazon facility, and we brought in the Roswell Air Races, which has actually brought in more economic development opportunities from people that have visited the races. They've talked to the Bobby Thompson out there to try to build more businesses here. I love this community with all my heart, and I promise to keep working every single day to help Roswell grow, to thrive, and to shine for every citizen, for every family, and for all of us who proudly call Roswell home. Thank you.
There are 2 open seats for City Councilor Ward 3. There's a 2-year term and a 4-year term. There are 3 candidates that are running for the 2-year positions. So let me introduce you to the 3 that will be on the ballot for the 2-year term. Immediately to my left is Kurt E. Gass. On his left is Richard E. Hess. And on his left is Judy Stubbs. At this point, we'll allow each of them to share their opening comments. I'll start first with Mr. Gass, your opening thoughts.
Thank you, Rick. Sunday morning, I was sitting at the breakfast table, and I was reading a column that's written weekly by a local attorney. And it said, do you add something when you enter a room? And it brought me to 2 people in Roswell who were very good friends that passed away recently, Chuck Call and Patrick McGill. Both of them were sort of soft-spoken, but both of them added so much to Roswell. They were just unbelievable people. They didn't ever serve on city council that I know of, but they added a lot to Roswell. I've been here for over 45 years, and I've served in a lot of different ways. And in all the things I've done, I've tried to add to Roswell. I'm running now because this is my home. This is where my family is, and I'm lucky to have 2 of my 3 kids still live in Roswell and call it home. And they're raising 6 of my 8 grandkids. And so I want this to be a better place. I've been on a number of boards for many years, and I truly think I have something to add to Roswell in this capacity. And so I decided those people were team players. They added a lot of value, and I thought, would I add value if I walked into a room? And would I add value on the city council? And I decided yes, and that's why I decided to run. Thank you.
Mr. Hess?
My name is Richard Hesse, and I'm running for City Council Ward 3. I've done this before about 20 years ago, not very interested in it, not very committed to it. Today I'm committed. I want to bring common sense to the City Council. After last summer's fiasco with the water situation and the astronomical bill that I got, I blew a gasket. Therefore, I wasn't going to run, but I kept being asked by other people, you speak, you talk, you speak the truth. Protect us. Go to City Council. So God put it in my heart to run for City Council. That's what I'm doing and why I'm here. I'm for the progress to take Roswell into the future, not into the past. The past is dismal. I've been here since 1991 after serving 10 years in the Navy, military police, hovercraft team leader, and shipboard firefighter. So I have the leadership experience that I can bring to bear, and the dedication that I will use for this community. Thank you.
Councilor Stubbs?
Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm off.
You may need to pick it up. I think it's on. Is it on?
Good evening. Thank you, all of you. Appreciate it. I want to first thank Leadership Roswell Alumni for doing this so many years. It's a real opportunity, I think, for our citizens to be able to really get to know some of us that run and are very serious about helping this community. So appreciate that. And of course, Pecos Valley Broadcasting for airing this, RISD for this venue, and of course all of the many people who over the years have encouraged me to continue my service on the Roswell City Council. I grew up with a sense of helping my neighbor when I could and serving my community when I had a chance. I've been the director of several human service organizations over the years here, and they've all given me, I think, a frontline perspective of Roswell's needs. I have true passion for public policy. I take this commitment very seriously and believe experience and knowledge are important as we continue embarking on creating and sustaining a climate to strengthen the Roswell economy and meet emerging challenges. I am committed, and I'm committed to this position, and in every decision I make, I hold very paramount the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens, and I pledge truth in every effort that I encounter.
Thank you, Councilor. We'll now ask four questions of these candidates. The first question will be asked first to Mr. Gass. In visiting with members of your ward, what is your ward's greatest need right now, and how do you plan to address it?
You know, in talking to the people as I've gone around asking for votes, the one thing that didn't come up is the water problem. And I guess we're past that, whatever, but economic growth is a problem that they've had. And they said, we don't have anything for anybody to do here. And I just finished a term of about 15 years on the Roswell-Chaves County Economic Development Corporation and was instrumental in that organization for that time. And I can tell you that there are so many positive things happening in Roswell. I could sit here for 30 minutes and tell you I've got a minute left. And I'll give you one example, and this might not be the most important example, but the trampoline park that you've seen a sign next to Sam's for quite a while. One of the problems the city has is when a business comes to Roswell, and we've heard this from many businesses in the EDC, Roswell just says no. And we have to if it doesn't fit in our box, we have to say, what can we do to make this fit? Well, they did that. They had to go back to Roswell many times, but I talked to the owner, and he said, we are not now only going to open it, but we're expanding it and going to put 2 box stores on there. And the city has really changed. And that's really an improvement for Roswell. But by the end of March of 26, we'll have a bigger trampoline park. It'll give people more to do, and that's what they were asking for, is we need more things for families to do. Thank you.
What was the question again?
Mr. Hesse, the question is, in visiting with members of your ward, what is your ward's greatest need right now, and how do you plan to address it?
Wow. Talking to the people in my ward, there's different sections of the ward that I've talked to, and water issue with our aging, extremely old water system in the old part of the town, going all the way to Enchanted Hills, water blowouts, losing water pressure. On the 3rd of this month, I had a 2-inch line in front of my house explode. I didn't have water for 6 hours while they repaired the line. We've got to do something about that. But I agree with Kurt, there is things that we need to improve and bring to this town, not only for entertainment for the young people, but also education, as well as lighting. The Sierra Grande Park area is not well lit. The whole bike path through that area, it stinks. And I see stuff out there all the time. So that would be something I would want to try to focus on in the future. But I already know and already have been in touch with the Parks and Rec manager that things like that are going to occur. So that's a positive. Economic development, yes, big deal. Bring more businesses. Let's make our businesses more resourceful. Give them the resources that they need, not punish them with over-regulation and, well, that's it, over-regulation.
Councilor Stubbs?
I think I know the question, but would you please?
We can set a record if you want me to read it a third time.
I do.
Okay. Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. In visiting with members of your ward, what is your ward's greatest need right now, and how do you plan to address it?
Thank you for that. As I talk to people in my area, they're all saying basically the same thing, and it's infrastructure. Infrastructure includes water, it includes buildings, it includes streets, most assuredly, and I don't know where actually to begin, because we all know what the flood has done to so many of us, but I think it's wonderful how resilient so many of the people in Roswell have been over that. But I think mostly it's streets that people question me about. And you know, the Fed and the state pay very little for local streets, and so that is a big concern. The other thing I wanted to mention that I just found out last week or so is that the state is no longer going to accept water or wastewater in capital outlay requests from the municipalities, which I think is a severe situation. The other thing is they may be sweeping money that has not been moving within our community. So I'm really concerned, I think, as I think we all should be, not just in Ward 3, but those are some critical issues that really need to be addressed, and I'd love to hear how.
Interesting enough, the three of you have already touched on the next three questions, but I'm going to stick with the script. The second question goes first to Mr. Hesse. Our city recently increased taxes. If elected, what specific steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
I talked to a few of my clients that I deal with, and they were real unhappy about the tax increase. And then I explained to them that it was a short-term fix to bring in some more revenue from the flooding issue. The flooding issue was a once-in-a-century type deal, but we do have problems in that area because those ravines have not yet been cleared, not been redug out, not been brought down to a level that they can handle the flood. If we have another storm this October like we had last October, we're going to be in a world of hurt again. So, you know, as far as handling that, that's a real difficult situation. But that, as far as taxes, if everybody's paying a little bit more in taxes to take care of the problems, I don't see an issue with that because I'm willing to do that. But let's not raise it so high that it hurts all of us, because a higher tax rate will hurt us in the long run. So let's keep it with a grandfather or a twilight clause in there. So I'm okay with it.
Councilor Stubbs?
Got it. Thank you. Raising taxes are probably the two most hated words in any kind of government. It's an unfortunate situation, but the way I look at it is that when the city or any local government requires a raise in tax, they're typically using it for projects and for even personnel and things that we individually cannot have for ourselves. For example, we don't have a policeman for each of us. We don't have a fireman for each of us. So taxes, unfortunately, need to be raised periodically. And again, statute allows the council to raise some of their own, and some need to go directly to the masses, you citizens. So they're very complicated, but most of the time taxes are raised for something specific. And, the council raised the tax for ambulance service a few years ago, I think. And that's going to actually reduce the cost of what an ambulance service that would contract with us would cost. So there are a lot of variables. There are a lot of different ways to look at it, and I probably don't have all the answers.
Okay. Mr. Gass?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. Our city recently increased taxes. If elected, what specific steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
I'm not against raising taxes, but I think that needs to be, if you're going to do it, it has to be for a specific reason, and then there has to be a sunset clause where it goes away. I'm not for permanently increasing taxes. I'd much rather look at our economic development, which I think is really going on the right foot. We got the air races here, and when I was chairman of the EDC, and we first looked at that, I said, if we get this, we will never worry about being 50,000 again. Then we got better built. We had the largest empty building on an airstrip in the United States for 30 years. And we got better built modular housing in there, which is going to create up to 330 jobs over the next year and a half. We just got Amazon, which is out on South Sunset. It's 200 new jobs. We just got an equipment rental company that is going to be right next to it. Twice in the last 45 years, Roswell has spent between 40 and 50,000 to say, how can we grow Roswell? And the answer was the same. Your key, your asset is the air center. And if we develop that right, Roswell is going to grow. We are already growing so much, but Roswell is going to grow. And that's how we increase our revenue.
The third question will go first to Councilor Stubbs. This is one of the longer questions. The city of Roswell provides services such as road and sidewalk maintenance, water, sewage, and trash disposal. These are basic necessities for the well-being of Roswell residents. How good of a job is the city doing with these responsibilities, and what challenges do you see facing our city leadership regarding these issues in the future?
You're thinking, is she going to ask me to repeat it or not? No.
I will not repeat it twice for the same person.
Okay. Everything you mentioned are necessities to have a city moving and growing as it needs to. I really have forgotten everything you said. You're not going to let me. Again, I think it goes back to infrastructure and the need for really watching infrastructure. Do you know, this may not be part of the question you asked me, but as chair of the Roswell Drought Contingency Plan Task Force, I've learned that we have had over 32 main gas or water line breaks in this city just in this current fiscal year. And so I think the concern we all need to have is to how to maybe conserve our resources and to continue to really work toward making, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I'm going to quit. Forgive me, you all.
Okay. Mr. Gass.
You know, how good a job we're doing, as good as we can. for 20 years, I was Chief Financial Officer of Armstrong Construction Company, which was a highway paving firm, but we did water, sewer, sidewalks, roads, highways. And I know the cost because I was the accountant. And that was 20 years ago. And the costs have gone up so much. And when I see what they're doing to our streets now, we don't have the money. We do a slurry seal, which really is sort of putting a Band-Aid on a gash wound. I mean, we don't have the money to really do what we need to do. And, you know, our budget is limited. That's one of the problems we have, but that's one of the problems every city in the country has. And again, I'm going to say it's going to go back to economic growth. We have to grow our revenue so we can solve some of these problems. You know, to do, you know, it's millions of dollars a mile now. You know, the first 10 miles out of Roswell was an $8.6 million project. That's going to get you from Berendo on Montana to about 19th Street. That's all it's going to get you. It's not going to get you 10 miles of redoing a brand new highway with culverts and sewer systems. And so we just have to economically grow so we can solve that problem, but they're doing the best they can.
Mr. Hesse?
Wow, what a question. Infrastructure is very key to the survival of a city. The city is on the brink of disaster because former city council, former mayors, as long as I've been in Roswell, have done nothing, absolutely nothing for our infrastructure. This goes way back. I am frustrated with that. I want to move us forward. One thing that many of these people up here are saying is infrastructure, infrastructure. Yeah, okay, how do we do it? We've got to grow the city, but it's also, we've got to think outside the box. Be creative. There are ways to get money, but everybody always tells me, oh, we've got to have money before we do anything. We've got to spend the money. No, you don't. Come up with a creative way. City has a lot of property that they own. And they're auctioning it off in front of the courthouse at pennies on the dollar. I've got a friend of mine that has an idea for that, but I won't divulge it here. But it is an economical boom for Roswell with our land that we own. You and I own it. The city owns it. Let's sell it.
Before starting the forum, we had a drawing because there's 4 questions with 3 candidates. And the candidate that will be asked the 4th question, final question first, will be Richard Hesse. The question, it is very common for our young adults to finish their Roswell schooling and then move away for college or other reasons, never to move back. Is it important to our city to bring our youth back? And if so, what can the city do to encourage them to return?
Economic development, plain and simple. Economic development. Let's bring some companies in here that the schooling that they go through gives them an opportunity to go to work. When Leprino Foods moved in here, I worked for AMPI. They bought the building, they bought the cheese factory, I went to work for them. They have, over 300 people out there that work a pretty good job. The mechanics that I worked with now today is making $32 an hour. When I started with them, I was making $8. But that was out of the service, and that was okay. But we've got to improve our school-to-work programs. Let's teach some things like, how about wood crafting? How about framing? What about concrete work? I mean, the blue-collar workers, there are a lot of them, and I was one of them. I was a blue-collar worker. I worked in the Navy, on ships. I worked for Leprino Foods out there as a mechanic. I ran a business. Now, I didn't have a lot of employees, but hey, I did employ a couple. So let's improve our economic base by encouraging better businesses come in and work with our schools.
Councilor Stubbs.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. I have really mixed emotions about the answer to this question because I'm thinking Bruce and I raised two sons who are both engineers and both own their own companies that are companies that would not survive here in Roswell. Yet there are others who have come to Roswell just like our sons went somewhere else. So I sort of see it equaling out because we have a lot of fresh ideas and new things coming, as Kurt mentioned, and I have to agree here too with Mr. Hesse is that there are so many opportunities for young people to do the blue-collar jobs, which is what I think we need here. So I think it's kind of, in my mind, I'm glad that our sons were able to move on and create businesses that they can sustain their family with. But I'm also tickled to death when we get new people here who bring in new ideas and new businesses. So I'm not sure how to answer that because I fluctuate both ways.
Mr. Gass?
Such an important question. Like I said, I'm lucky that two of my three kids went to college, came back, and they are here. My three kids went to New Mexico State, University of New Mexico, and to Eastern. And I've got a registered nurse and a speech pathologist that came back here. The reason it's important is because it's hard for New Mexico to get doctors, and if we can get our kids to come back that are doctors, and there are some, I can name a number of them that went to school with my kids and they came back, but we need all of those people to come back here. I'm going to tell you one thing that is really important, and this is a little political, but there's a bond issue for the college that's going to be up on this election. It is very important. We have to have higher wages for kids. We have to have more educational opportunities other than go to college. And that is going to be on your ballot this election. You need to vote for the bond issue for that educational center at Eastern. That is one of our keys to growth, is that college. They do so much. We have the #1 nursing program. They have so many, the aircraft maintenance program. That college is the key to keeping our kids here too, but vote for that bond issue, please. Thank you.
At this time, we'll allow each candidate 1 minute to share their closing thoughts. We'll start first with Mr. Gass.
I lived in Minnesota for 20 years in a town about the size of Dexter. And then I lived in Chicago, right on One Michigan Place, worked on the 36th floor at Pete Marwick, and walked 4 blocks, and, sat there, and there was a house there. And then I went to Rockford, but I hated Chicago. And I came back to the Pecos Valley to make this my home. And I've been here ever since. It's such a nice place to live. And I've really served, a lot in Roswell. And I've enjoyed everything I've done. And I just want this opportunity to represent Ward 3 as their city councilman, and I think I do a good job. Thank you so much.
Mr. Hesse?
Well, in closing, I want to thank you for being here, folks. I'm going to ask you for your vote, those of you that are in Ward 3. I think outside of the box. I'm a proven leader in the Navy, and a proven leader in my own business. I'm in the end of my twilight season. I have nothing to gain beyond this. I'm not going for a higher office or anything. I don't want to be in politics. I want to serve my ward and serve it proudly, take care of the people that I'm in contact with, as I do on a daily basis with my neighbors, and help them out all the time. So thank you for your time here. I ask you for your vote honorably. Thank you.
Councilor Stubbs?
Thank you, Mr. Kraft, and thank all of you for being here tonight. As many of you know, probably all of you, I've been on the council a few times before, and it's been because of the guidance and wisdom, I think, of others, that I've been able to face some real problems and to have successfully learned how to deal with a multi-million-dollar budget. I hope you don't judge me by the number of signs I have up or the fact that I'm the woman in this group. But I do believe that the city has a responsibility to develop a positive environment that sets the tone to attract new jobs, as we all have said, and support existing businesses. I'm going to take my 10 seconds and read to you a poem that sort of says everything that I hope that I have been for many years. This was told to me by a mentor when I was about 14 or 15. I've never forgotten it.
I'm
And
sorry,
the problem
Councilor
is I am over time.
I'm
Let
sorry.
me say my poem.
If your two candidates say that's
It's
okay.
fine, yeah.
Okay.
They want to hear my poem too.
Okay. The
Thank
vote is
you.
2-0 for the others up at the table,
I
so that's
gotcha.
fine. Yeah.
Now, this poem, it was written anonymously, and for all these years that I try to share it with different people, I wish I could tell you who wrote it, but I don't know. It's called I Am Only One. I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And what I can do, I ought to do, and what I ought to do, by the grace of God, I will do. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you all on behalf of the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association, those here this evening, those watching online. Thank you for your commitment to our city, seeking City Councilor Ward 3. Good luck to each of you. We've got 4 panels left. We're going to take a brief break, maybe 10 minutes. When we come back, we're going to have a drawing. So if you want to stand up and stretch, that's great. If you leave the room, please hurry back because you may have the ticket for the drawing. If you don't have a ticket, you've got just a couple minutes to go grab her in the back.
You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico, and this is the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association Municipal Candidate Forum. We are in an intermission period, so we're going to pause for some commercials and news, and we will be back here in about 10 minutes with the second half of the candidate forum. Don't forget, you can also catch this live streaming video, ksvptv.com, right there on the front of the page as you go there. We're going to take a break, and we'll return to the forum in just a few minutes. Thank you for listening. And good evening. It is 7:42 p.m. and you are listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We are in the middle of the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association Municipal Candidate Forum, which is taking place as we speak here in the Pueblo Auditorium. We are now ready to go ahead and commence with wards 4 or 5 in the mayoral races. Let me take you back to our moderator for today's event, Mr. Rick Kraft.
Okay, welcome back. We have 4 panels left to go. I ask the broadcasters how many are watching online. The numbers have hit up to the 500, have been on at some point, and up to 300 at a time. So we're glad you're here with us, but it sounds like many of the individuals in our community are watching at home. I visited with our county clerk, Cindy Fuller, and she sent me some information on the upcoming election. Early voting will begin on October 7th at the county clerk's office, Area D, at the south entrance, and at Roswell Mall starting on October 18th. Dexter and Hagerman will also have early voting October 21st, 23rd, 28th, and on the 30th. On November 4th, Election Day, here in Chaves County, or here in the Roswell area, you can vote at 13 different locations. If you need an absentee ballot, you can call the county clerk's office, 575-624-6614. If you have any questions, and I'll repeat again, nmvote.org is a great resource to find out exactly what's going to be on your ballot if you log on to that. Also on the ballot, as has been shared earlier, is the mill levy issue with the NMUR. I went to a presentation last week on that mill levy. They're asking to increase what the community provides financially to be more in line with what other communities contribute to their community universities. The vote is for career and technical education purposes. It would increase the current mill levy by $1 per $1,000 of net taxable value to your home. If it were passed, it would provide more educational opportunities to our community. There are handout materials in the lobby. If you have more questions, you could also call ENMUR. We will now turn and ask questions of the candidates running for the 4-year term in Ward number 3. There are 3 candidates on the ballot. One of the candidates, Nicholas Ray Ballinger, had committed to coming tonight and is not here. So he's on the ballot but not present. Let me introduce you to the 2 other candidates that are present this evening. We've got Edward Lee Heldenbrandt, the incumbent, and Kendrick D. Smith. At this time, we'll have our opening comments from the 2 of you. We'll call first on Councilor Heldenbrandt.
Thank you, Rick. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Rick stated, I'm Edward Heldenbrandt, current Ward 3 City Councilor. I've lived in Roswell for over 40 years and I'm married to a Roswell native. But most importantly, I'm a fiscal conservative. My career as a chief financial officer and CPA, which I've retired from, gives me the experience and knowledge to continue improving our city budget. I currently serve on the Finance Committee, chair of the Legal Committee, and I also serve on the City Master Plan Steering Committee. We have made great strides to improve the finances of the city, but the task is not finished. We have stopped the robbing of the city enterprise funds. In the years past, funds were withdrawn in whatever amounts were needed to shore up the overspending of the city's general fund, money that should have been used to repair our aging infrastructure. I have and will continue to increase our police department and fire department budgets for the protection of all of us. We've made changes which align for transparency and better governance. We have added the position of an internal auditor who reports to the council. We will now have independent oversight. We've also changed the campaign contribution reporting. Now all campaign contributions must be reported, giving transparency, which did not exist prior to. But we have made those changes. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Smith.
My name is Kendrick Smith. I have a bachelor's in performing arts in psychology. I have a master's degree in criminal justice and psychology. I've served in the community for a number of years. I've been a supervisor at Job Corps. I've also been a teacher for many years. I currently work at Tobosa Developmental Center. I worked in the psych ward. I refereed for the Yucca basketball for the youth for many years. I've also worked as a receptionist in the Eastern Medical Center. And I want to work with the youth and with the kids and be able to help fix some of these parks and get some of these kids off the street and stop some of the vandalism. And I also want to be able to just help with the elderly unemployment rate, because right now I see a lot of elderly people are getting laid off because of their age. That's something that I want to work on as well. Also, I feel that, working together within the community, my slogan is community together again, and just to bring back some of these programs for the youth to be able to just do something in the community and not be out there, causing any trouble or anything.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. The first question will be asked of Councilor Hildenbrand. In your opinion, what is Roswell's biggest asset and biggest liability, and how will you support or address them? This is Councilor Hildenbrand.
Okay, I'm so
Yes.
sorry.
No problem.
Thank you, Rick. If I understand the question, what's Roswell's biggest asset and its biggest liability? Well, its biggest physical asset is the airport. The real big asset are the people of this community that have shown how they have come together, especially after we had our flood in October, and what people did to help and support other people. That's our biggest asset. But the biggest physical asset is our airport and the development that's going on out there and will go on out there. That there will be continued employment. We just had the Reno Air Show, and that was a big win for the community, a big win for the state, and it was probably our biggest asset that we have.
Mr. Smith?
Okay. I think one of the biggest liabilities is the lack of programming for the youth. And I think that, like the community used to have like Hike It, Spike It and Gut Smackers for the youth, and for the people who are, of age, there's a lot of programs that's not there for the elderly as well. So I want to help in the community to help bring back some programming. I think that's one of the biggest liability. If the kids are doing something and they're out there, being busy, I don't think that they will be out there doing anything, wrong. So I feel like we need more mentors and leaders. I think that's who's working with these youth. I think that's one of the biggest liabilities that I see.
The second question will go first to Mr. Smith. Our community regularly faces homeless and drug problems. What action do you think the city should take in addressing these issues?
Well, I worked in the psych ward for years, and I see that bringing in community and being able to help them with rehabbing, to be able to get them to be able to get housing and to be able to help them get off of drugs. I think often we just put them back on the streets. I think that we need to help them while they're in there, and when they get out, help them to transition into rehab and to be able to get clean, and so that they won't be able to do the drugs. If we get them clean, then there won't be a problem.
Councilor Hildebrand?
Repeat that question, would you, please?
Sure. Our community regularly faces homeless and drug problems. What action do you think the city should take in addressing these issues?
Well, the homeless and drug problem is a national problem. It's just not just a local problem. It's something that our whole country faces, and that our city needs to be active but the funds have got to come from somewhere else. We just do not have the ability financially to create the programs that need to be taken care of. We need the hospitals to be involved, we need the county to be involved, we need to be working together to make this happen. But it's not up to, we don't have the rehab facilities here, and that's something that needs to be addressed by the state level. Thank you.
Okay, the third question will go first to Councilor Hildebrand. Our city recently increased taxes. If elected, what steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
Our city did what?
What would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
Well, as I stated earlier, we had a deep hole that was left there, and we now have secured a budget which is closest to the balanced budget that we've ever had. Overspending had taken place, and we've tightened it down, and we now have a balanced budget. We've also we created a public safety tax, which will be able to create a new ambulance service in our community, but also those funds can be used to support our police and fire department, which we'll be looking at to how we continue to improve the quality and increase our payroll for our current city and police fire department.
Mr. Smith.
Well, and like I said, I think we should get more grant writers and looking more into scholarships. And I think that being able to look in those avenues, I think that would help, with the tax problem, because grants and scholarships are free, so we should get more on our grant writers, or get more grant writers, or get more people who know how to do these things, as far as scholarships, writing grants and getting scholarships. And I think that would be that would help with that problem, because if we able to make sure that these kids and everything don't have to pay as much, then we'll be able to alleviate that problem.
Okay, the fourth and final question will go first to Mr. Smith. Outside the UFO Festival and the air races, are we doing enough to promote economic development in our community, and are we spending our city funds effectively on economic development?
Well, I see that we are in some areas, and then some areas, like I said, for the youth. Let's take, for example, with Cahoon Park. We know the things that happen there, but the kids should be able to still get the courts fixed, or get lights out there. So, and I heard you spoke about, we spoke about mental health, and I was saying maybe some of the kids can go out there, and if we had lights and we had the courts fixed and maybe had a reopening of Cahoon Park, or just things like that, I think the kids we'll be able to spend the money on things like that for the youth to be able to have something here, So I think I think in some areas we are, and in some areas we're not putting more back into these kids economically. I don't think we're not spending our economic dollars into these kids and in the future of Roswell. I think that's what we should be focused on, the future of Roswell, But I think sometimes we're focused on the present right now and not looking towards the future of Roswell, and the youth is the future. So I think, like, just for example, with Cahoon Park, that's something that we need to invest in. Invest in your youth, invest in the kids, to have somewhere to go, to be able to play ball and get out of trouble, or do just something,
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir.
Councilor Hildebrand.
Yeah, I believe your question was about the economic development besides just the air show and the UFO festival. Those are two great items that give us notoriety throughout the whole country and about the whole world, and has brought a tremendous amount of people here. We do not know what's really going to happen yet, with the impact of the national championship air races. This was its infant year, and we will not know what that impact is from people who came here to visit, people who will move here, people who bring businesses here. We don't know what that's going to be, but we also have a national historic air museum going to come to town. That's going to be a great boom for us. But the city's been working hand in hand with our economic development, Roswell, Chaves County Economic Development, and they've done a great job. We do not know of all of the issues that, I mean, they brought in Amazon, which was one of them that they brought in. You know, the economic development has done a great job in qualifying funds for businesses. They get their job reimbursement programs from the state, which is a big boom for them. But we will continue to work hand in hand with the EDC to drive home growth in our community. So, thank you, Rick.
Okay. At this time, we'll allow 1 minute closings for each of the candidates. We'll start first with Councilor Hildebrand.
Thank you. We have many challenges ahead as we have suffered setbacks and destruction due to the October flood. The damage to the city roads, buildings, and infrastructure is estimated to be in excess of $200 million. We are currently working with FEMA to move ahead with rebuilding, but that will be a long, tedious task and road. Unfortunately, we will have to wait on them before we were able to move forward. You know, the words, I'm here, I'm from the federal government, I'm here to help you, are the words that you never want to hear. But that's where we're at. We are experiencing economic growth with the addition of Amazon, creating 75 to 100 new jobs. Built-wise, will add 300 plus jobs out of the airport. In the national championship air races, providing an economic boost for our local businesses. Who knows what's on the horizon, but I will tell you the city and the EDC are working diligently to attract new businesses. Stay tuned. With your vote, we will build a stronger, safer, and more prosperous Roswell. I thank you for your time and ask you for your vote. This is not about me, it's about we. Thank you.
Mr. Smith?
Well, like I stated, I've worked in the community for years, and you know, I feel that, you know, like I said, you know, the youth, it should be one of our priorities. I feel like our elderly should be one of our priorities because, you know, a lot of people during the flood lost their homes, and a lot of the elderly, you know, could not afford to, you know, rebuild their homes or fix their homes. So, but actually getting laid off from your job when you're trying to fix your home after a flood is very bad, you know. And so, I think helping the elderly to get back to work, I think that's something that we could do. Helping these youth to get off the streets. What's the point of building something if the youth is out here vandalizing it, you know? So you want to get them in check first. And so I want you guys to really look at, you know, what plagues your community. And I hope you guys go vote for me in the election. Thank you, guys.
On behalf of those here in attendance, those watching online in our community, we appreciate both you and your commitment to our community seeking the Ward 3 City Councilor position. Good luck. We have two candidates for City Council Ward 4. Let me introduce these two individuals to you. Immediately on my left is Robert B. Korn, the incumbent, and on his left is Emily Raquel Valencia. At this point, we'll allow a minute and a half for each of them to share opening comments. Councilor Korn, your opening comments.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you and the leadership Roswell Alumni Association for putting this together. I'm Robert Korn. I'm the incumbent in this ward. Let me tell you why I'm running. I hold in my hand the special audit by the state auditor. These are for the years FY 17 to 22, dated February 21, 25. The last time the city of Roswell had a balanced budget was in FY 15. And the bell winner during this audit was FY 19, $63 million in the hole. Since I've been on the city council along with all these other incumbents, we've gone down from 26.6 million to 7.5 million, and in this year's budget, which I hold in this hand, we're down to $998,000. So we're making progress. You can't turn it around overnight. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work. We also have just started implementing some of the things that were outlined in the state auditor's audit. Kind of late, but it didn't get here very soon. So we're working on that, trying to get through that. We've stopped the robbery of the enterprise funds that they took from 17 to 22. Remember, those are the fiscal years of $16.3 million to be continued at my closing.
Okay. Ms. Valencia, your open comments?
Thank you, everybody, for being here. And again, thank you to the leadership alumni, Roswell Alumni Association for hosting. My name is Emily Valencia. I am 25 years old. I am born and raised here. And when I was starting my freshman year, I moved into Ward 4. Upon graduating, I attended ENMU on a scholarship, several scholarships, and I returned to Roswell inspired and ready with tools and an education to give back to my community. I currently work at a nonprofit as a case manager for our youth and as a youth advocate in our courts. And a lot of my work involves care, dedication, patience, and a strong ability to listen. My role is an immediate reflection of my priorities for our city. I wish for better infrastructure, safer streets, and sidewalks for our youth and everyone. I want to see sustainable urban development and new growth. And most importantly, I want community members in power to demonstrate full government transparency that I promise to practice if elected. Transparency invites efficiency and consideration for the negative impacts hard decisions can create. When councilors are attentive to the needs of the community, we do great, and we do greater for good. So we must listen, act with the community, for the community. Thank you.
We'll now ask 4 questions. The candidates, the first question will go to Councilor Korn. Of the issues you think are important to the City Council this term, what is the single most important issue you have at the top of your list, and what are your plans to make sure it happens?
Rick, the number one item on my list is getting our financial house in order. If we can't get our financial house in order, then we can't progress. I gave you some really big negative figures starting out, and I went through and looked at the old budget documents left at City Hall. That's where these numbers come from. It's been confirmed by our staff that these are correct. It's a big problem. We're right on the edge of getting a balanced budget. Hopefully we'll get it done this next fiscal year. We just got $1 million to go, so less than $1 million. So that's my number one. If you don't get your money organized and get a little savings, you can't get much done. Thank you.
Ms. Valencia?
I must concur with Mr. Korn in regards to budget. I do think that that is a priority. I also think that part of me being present today is part of this government transparency, and the entire point of my campaign is representation. Like I said before, I'm 25 years old. I was born and raised here. I experienced being a youth in this modern day and time, and I've watched the city grow in the past 25 years as I've grown, and I've seen it come from a place where we were in very, very difficult times, and now we're seeing a better side. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the work that our elders have put in to accomplish that. Is difficult, but it was a team effort, and it took a lot of determination and a lot of transparency to get there. And so I want to be part of that effort. And I think that it's important as well to consider, again, the people that aren't at the table, that aren't able to come in and speak for themselves. How are they impacted by these budget decisions, and how are we considering if their well-being is going to be affected in the long run? Thank you.
The second question will be asked first of Ms. Valencia. Every Roswell citizen wants to live in a safe community. In the past 2 years, the police department has hired and trained 66 new officers and lost 66 new officers to other agencies after they finished their training. What are your ideas on how to keep officers in Roswell once they are trained and on patrol?
RPD, from what I've understood, has a training program that they're quite proud of, and that they bring in people to train our people and to really prepare them through national education. So that's something that's wonderful, and I've been able to understand through the tours and just speaking with officials in the police department. And one of their main concerns is we train them so well, we prepare them, and then they leave. You know, they don't feel like they can survive and sustain their families with the money that they're making and for the risk that they're taking, right? And so I hope to continue speaking with the police department in that regard, and they've also had other concerns in regards to their budget and whether the city has advocated for them. And the next step towards that is juvenile justice, right? If our law enforcement is safe and secure in the way that they feel that they're being paid and trained, then they're gonna be in a place where they can listen to the other solutions and problems that come around with a better ear, because they are secure at home. They are safe at home. Their children are well fed, and they're okay when they go to work, and they are determined when they go to work. And we want that. We want our police officers to love their community, to be invested in their community, but we can't do that if we don't invest in them. Thank you.
Councilor Corn.
Thank you, Rick. In the short time I've been on the city council, we've increased the number of police officers 10. We added 10 since I've been here. And believe it or not, it was quite a fight. And because some of the 5 that were left said, "Oh, we got a deal. You hire them, we'll pay for them." We said, "No, we're just going to put the officer positions in there." One of the big problems we have is, like every other community in the state of New Mexico, we're competing with state police. They got a big raise, big raise. And all those certified officers, or quite a few of them, have moved to the state police. And I don't know exactly how we're going to deal with that. All these issues are extremely complicated. There's just not a quick answer to any of this stuff. You have to sit down and think about it. You have to have a conversation with your other city councilors, and hopefully we'll come to a consensus that'll work. Thank you.
The third question will go first to Councilor Corn. In this last term, the city council voted to raise the cost of water sold to its citizens to pay down a debt that was incurred in the purchase of remote monitoring meter system several years ago. Other than significantly increasing the price of city water, what measures could the council have taken or take at this time to pay down the debt?
Well, that's a problem. We have increased the debt load on the city to overhaul the 2 reservoirs out here on 6 Mile Hill on Country Club Road that have been leaking, by the way, depending on who you talk to, from 2011, 2012. I have an engineering study at home on my computer that stated 2013. And I was out there with the city manager and the water superintendent, and the water, you can't see it from the road because it's always on the backside of the tank, right? It's just gushing out from underneath that tank. How much that has cost us just wasting that water because we're pumping it? Nobody can tell me, but I can tell you that about 1 million gallons is missing off of our inventory when you look at the report we have to make to the state engineer every year. So, and we have other failing pipe. We're going to the water board right now for another $10 million deal to replace the pipe from 19th to 8th Street down, I believe it's Montana, behind front of the Elks and Recreation Center. That pipe, the last break, we mic'd the pipe. It was put in the 40s, and it was 3/4 of an inch, and now it's just barely over a 1/2 inch. So we've got some serious issues that we've got to deal with.
Ms. Valencia?
One more time, sorry.
Sure. In this last term, the City Council voted to raise the cost of water sold to its citizens to pay down a debt that was incurred in the purchase of remote monitoring meter systems several years ago. Other than significant increasing the price of city water, what measures could the council have taken or take at this time to pay down the debt?
As it's been expressed, everything is a complicated issue, especially things where you talk about reparations, neglected things that weren't maintained, infrastructure that has expired. And before we even get to that, I think we might have had to ask, was the community informed of these situations? How could they have been informed? Who was going to inform them? Did we have complete information before that vote was even taken, right? It's such a complex problem, but I understand that nothing is free. And if it's not coming from here, it's coming from there. Do we truly know every single detail before we make that decision? And if so, was any of it preventable then? That is all.
The fourth and final question will go first to Ms. Valencia. Outside the UFO festival and the air races, are we doing enough to promote economic development in our community, and are we spending our city funds effectively on economic development?
I think that there has been a lot of progress. I've seen it with my own eyes, like I said. New places coming up here and there. Oh, there's a new business. Oh, you know. And something that I've had to understand is zoning and planning, picking up the plan, learning about it. I'm on page 12 of the recent one that I picked up, right? I'm constantly looking through these because they've been here for 12 years. These plans have already been in place for a really long time. People already dedicated their time to put them together so that we can execute them in best practice with that leniency so that we can do it in 2025, right? And so I would hope that we continue in that direction, exploring changes in that zoning and planning so that it's easier for businesses to come in, so that there is that less of that red tape. But I would also hope that we get creative, right? That we invite our youth to this space. I am the youth. I'm 25 years old. Ask me what I want to see in this town. Ask your children what they want to see in this town, and take it to the meetings. Don't be afraid to ask for your minutes. Don't be afraid to go to your counselor and say, hey, what is zoning and planning? I need to understand that because I think I want to open a business in 6 years and I have no idea where to start. It is both community initiative, personal initiative, and then implementing what has already been prepared for us.
Councilor Corn?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Outside the UFO festival and the air races, are we doing enough to promote economic development in our community, and are we spending our city funds effectively on economic development?
One of the better partners that the city of Roswell has is the Roswell-Chaves County Economic Development District. And let me tell everybody, if it wasn't for that group coming to us, there wouldn't have been any air races. They're the ones that found it. We got together. I got a very early call from their director, and we sat down and made multiple trips to Reno to sell the air show or the air races to them, and then come home and sell them to our citizens. They're a great tool. I'm really excited. That's one of the partnerships that I've always been excited about. They're partly responsible for Beltwise. They're partly responsible for the Amazon last mile warehouse. I had a briefing the other day with their economic development director, and we've got some great opportunities just over the hill. And I think we're going to get there with enough discussion and planning. We're going to see some great things here in the very near future. Roswell is back on the move. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have both candidates share closing thoughts. We'll give them each 1 minute. We'll start first with Councilor Corn. We'll start first with Councilor Corn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was sitting there like a bump on a log. Okay, to continue. The other big problem we have is outstanding debt in the city of Roswell. We owe $91 million. The payments every year are $6.4 million. That comes off before you write the first check in payroll. That's the first debt you have to pay. It's paid twice a year. These are long-term bonds. Rick, you mentioned the water and deal. We still owe $18,000, if I'm looking at the right line item here, on that system. That part of the system was the automatic shutoff valves. That portion of it, the company went bankrupt. And so we get no relief at all there. We're working on a solution. One of our city councilors is immersed in that problem, and he thinks he's got a solution, and I bless him if he does.
Okay. Ms. Valencia?
Again, thank you everybody for being here. I'm elated to be here, and I extend my gratitude for everybody here present today. It was a long evening. Thank you for coming. As I said in the beginning, no call to action is well done without government transparency. I wish to be honest and available to our constituents and to listen to our community needs. I want our youth to be proud of their city. I want them to grow up in a safe, reliable place. I want business retention. I want professionals to have plenty of reasons to stay. I want to see people safely walking our streets anywhere as they visit our local flourishing businesses. Urban growth and infrastructure are crucial for the future of our children and our youth. We cannot change everything around us, but we can start by electing those who are truly inspired to serve, with us and for us, con nosotros y para nosotros. Thank you.
On behalf of those here this evening and those watching online in our community, I want to thank both of you for putting your name in for City Councilor. Good luck to both of you in your campaign ahead. Before moving to candidates for Ward 5, let me just tell you briefly about Leadership Roswell Alumni Association. It's comprised of the graduates of the Roswell Chamber of Commerce Leadership Roswell program. Besides the candidate forums, this association also does a teen program partnering with the New Mexico Military Institute. It's a great program for high school kids if you know students that would be good applicants for that in the spring. At this time, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to Ward 5, and we've got two candidates for Ward 5. The two candidates on my far right, your left, is Angela G. Moore, the incumbent, and Ben Ridgway to her left. We'll allow a minute and a half for each of the candidates to share their opening comments. I'll call first on Councilor Moore.
Welcome everyone. It's great to see all of you here. First, I want to thank God for allowing us to be here this evening, and I want to thank each of you for joining us in our official candidate forum. Thanks to Mr. Kraft and the members of the Leadership Roswell Alumni for hosting us here tonight, and the dozens of supporters and voters for your dedication. I am Angela Moore, and I am rerunning for councilor for Ward 5, so that the citizens will be glad of the decisions that we will make over the next 4 years. We know that Roswell is one of the best places to live in the country. I was raised here. I raised a fantastic son here. I retired after 25 years of teaching here, and I love it here, and I don't plan to go anywhere. If re-elected, I will continue to protect and cherish the public spaces like our downtown, our airport, and our zoo, parks and trails. I will help to continue to develop better public safety measures, and I will nourish our creative and innovative diverse culture supporting the arts and the festivals and the diversity of our beloved quirkiness, making sure that Roswell stays Roswell.
Mr. Ridgway, your opening comments.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Ridgway. I'm from Roswell. A few years back, some people asked me if I would run for city council, and at that time in my life, I had too much going on with family and job, with the business I was running and everything, and I just didn't see the time. And when I was asked this time, you know, I prayed about it, and here I am tonight. And I thank you all for being here tonight. Maybe you can share with you some of the things you've heard from the other people who have been interviewed tonight, okay? Because you came here to gather knowledge, and we hope you do. We hope we can give you some knowledge about the things we know. I've never done anything with politics before, but I believe that there's great opportunities in Roswell for growth. I'm going into this with fresh eyes, a healthy curiosity, and determination. I bring the experience of someone who has signed both sides of a check, front and back. I believe law enforcement should be fully funded and enough policemen hired to do the job that they were hired to do. I believe in being a good steward of tax dollars, avoiding wasteful spending and standing on solid ground financially. New development shouldn't strain existing public services, and strengthening and protecting infrastructure will help us to ensure that doesn't happen with the new businesses that we're expecting to come into Roswell.
Thank you, Mr. Ridgway. The first question will be asked first of Councilor Moore. If you were mayor for a day, what would be your passion project? What would be the one thing you wanted to make sure got done while you were in office?
Married for a day? I ain't doing it. I think one of the major projects would be to balance the budget. We know that funding is difficult in different, for different reasons. The city can't do say they can't do certain things because they lack funding. So I think one of the things would be is to, if I had a wishing well, was to make sure the balance was budget. The budget was balanced so that we could do all the things that people think we can do. That's
Mr. Ridgway?
Repeat the question?
Sure.
I think I got it, but.
No problem. If you were mayor for a day, what would be your passion project? What would be the one thing you wanted to make sure got done while you were in office?
My gosh, there's so many things that I see that Roswell could happen in Roswell, okay? Balancing the budget, of course, is something that the city council works on diligently every meeting, every year. And so we know that's going to be happening and stuff. And I think if I was mayor for the day, I think I would try to gather the community together. Make sure that they know what's going on in the community. Make sure that they come to, that they're invited to city meetings and they participate in them. Make sure that we're one community that stands together. Because there's a lot of stuff here that goes on that people don't know about, but we need to just be more transparent. So if I was mayor for one day, I'd just make sure that we could just get some transparency in everything.
The second question goes first to Mr. Ridgway. The city of Roswell provides services such as road, sidewalk maintenance, water, sewage, and trash disposal. These are basic necessities for the well-being of Roswell's residents. How good of a job is the city doing with these responsibilities, and what challenges do you see facing our city leadership regarding these issues in the future?
Personally, I'm out in the city all day, every day, and I see city workers everywhere. I see the garbage disposal, water. Everybody's doing everything they can possibly do with strained budgets and stuff. Equipment's not cheap. Nothing is cheap, okay? But I don't know how much more our city could do without some more money coming in. And that's what we need to do, is figure out where the money's going to come from. How are we going to finance a better service-oriented city? But I don't see anything that they could do better than they do. All the garbage men I knew, the city workers that I know and everything like that, they're as pleasant as they can be. They work endlessly every day. And so I appreciate what they do.
Councilor Moore?
I think they do a great job. Like you say, the equipment is expensive. The only thing I'm not kind of really, I think we could work on is the sidewalk issues that we're having with a lot of people, you know, having to pay to have sidewalk repairs and things like that. We struggle, our sidewalks look abysmal in some areas, mostly down south, of course, but I think that's other, you know, with the trash and the, I think they do a great job with that. With so much sewer damage from the flood, it's going to take us a while to get back up to par, where we're not swimming in debt with that. But you know, the sewer and the water management and all those, they're doing a very good job with those things. I just think we kind of need to work on the sidewalks. I think they could do a little better job with that.
Okay, the third question goes first to Councilor Moore. We are almost 1 year from our city's recent largest natural disaster. What have we learned from the flooding of our city, and how do we address this issue?
This is difficult for me because I was caught in the flood 3 times from where I live down south, and so I think that the city has started, you know, some things that to help if it happens again. I don't see that enough has been done yet. I don't know, the contingency plan and the cleaning out the, you know, where the water goes through, clean those things out, and having a place for the water to go. We need to work on that. It's very expensive. That's what everybody keeps saying. Every conversation we're going to have, to every question you're going to have tonight, the question is going to be, we don't have enough money for it. You're going to hear that. I'm sure you've heard that from everybody tonight. So I don't think we would be prepared if it happened again, just to be honest.
Mr. Ridgway?
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. Would you like some water? Okay. We are almost 1 year from our city's recent largest natural disaster. What have we learned from the flooding of our city, and how do we address this issue?
You know, when that flood came and when that flood happened, no one saw that coming. There was no way to prepare for it. Okay? I know they've repaired the dam out there. I know they're doing a lot of work out west of town, okay, to help divert water just in case something like that happened again. They're building new levees and everything. But the cleanup in Roswell has just been, because of our city workers, because of just everybody that came in, the cleanup was just absolutely a nightmare. I had to do several houses that were flooded and everything. But I'll tell you what, our city all pulled together as a family almost. Churches from all over the state, but all over the city, just reached out to one another. Churches out there, every denomination helping one another to help clean up the mess and prepare in case something like that happened. And again, I don't know how you prepare for that much disaster that fast.
Our fourth and final question will be asked first of Mr. Ridgway. Our city recently increased taxes. If elected, what steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
And again, I don't know if I can answer that because I don't have all the facts, okay? I do know that we have increases and stuff, and I know that Bob Korn and the city council that we have working right now is doing the best they can do with what they have to work with to balance the budget. How do we do it? Working together. Again, I'm coming into this with some fresh eyes, okay, some ideas, and just hoping for the best, you know. I mean, I can't change the world just because I'm elected, but I think as a good team of city councilors, we can help the deficit. We can help change this. We can use the money more wisely, maybe.
Councilor Moore?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Our city recently increased taxes. If elected, what steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
That's not something that I could do by myself, because there are 10 of us. But I think we need to apply for some more grants. They work diligently on that. We fought, hours and hours of conversation before we voted about that tax. It was not something that was haphazardly done. I mean, we 2 or 3 meetings, fighting and crying and arguing and, trying to, not for it not to happen. But sometimes it just has to happen. Nobody likes to have taxes raised, but sometimes it has to happen. The funding is, we can't grab it out the sky, so we have to get it one way or another, and that's just one of the ways that it has to be done. So.
At this time, we'll give each candidate 1 minute to share their closing thoughts. Let me call first on Councilor Moore.
As great as Roswell is, we still have some work to do. We cannot take for granted that the Roswell of today will be here for the next generation and the next generation after that. We need to continue to make Roswell one of New Mexico's leading progressive city. I am not asking for your vote. I'm asking for your ideas, your passion, your recommitment to making our city the best it can be. Together we can create positive, inclusive, and dynamic environments. Our neighborhoods need work, but we can do it as a community. We need to build stronger community relations. We have the opportunity as a city to go to another level. I want to be part of that. Make your voice be heard, vote, and tell a friend. Friends don't let friends not vote. Thanks again, and have a blessed evening.
Mr. Ridgway, your closing. This is your opportunity to provide a closing for 1 minute, yes.
Again, this is nothing that I've ever really considered doing, but again, I feel like it's my duty to, because I am from Roswell. I live here. I'm not going anywhere, period. I have nowhere else to go. This is my home. I think as a community working together, we can make some big changes. We have to figure out how to get jobs here so that our youth can stay here. To get new jobs here, we have to have some manufacturing. We have to have some new businesses come in so that we can employ people. We've also got to have a strong enough workforce to be able to do the jobs. So we just need to we just need to figure out how to get people back to work. That strengthens our economy, first of all, because there's so many people, that just are barely making it right now. But if we can get the new businesses that are looking for a place to come, right now there's businesses, corporations looking for a place to be. And I think with the right city council, we can get them to move to Roswell.
On behalf of those here this evening, the hundreds watching online in our community, we appreciate both of you putting your names in, seeking the position of City Councilor for Ward 5. Good luck to both of you. So there's good news and bad news tonight. The good news is that we have so many candidates running for office. When we put this form together, this, I believe, in the 38 forms we've done is the most candidates we've had in one evening. So we've tried to be true to each of these different candidates for the different board positions and city councilor. We're going to spend a little bit extra time here for the mayors by giving some added questions and such, but we appreciate your patience out there, those of you that have stuck with us. There's 4 candidates on the ballot for mayor. One candidate, Eva Tejas, did not respond to our phone calls, so she is not here this evening. But let me introduce you to the 3 candidates who are here this evening. Immediately to my left is Larry Ray Clark. In the middle is Christopher Glendon Hensley. And on the far end is Timothy Zeph Jennings, the incumbent. At this point, we'll give each of the candidates the opportunity to give openings, and we're going to allow each of them 3 minutes to share with you their opening thoughts. Mr. Clark, you go first.
Just pull it up. Pull it up.
You take it up if you want.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Larry Clark. I've been a Roswell resident for about 20 years. Don't really have any political experience. I've worked in corporations, large corporations, managing hundreds of people. I've been doing that for like 30 years, been controlling budgets and stuff like that. Been the main problem solver in these positions and the budget control guy, and I figure out how to make things running a lot more efficiently for the companies. I'm a family man, got 5 beautiful kids, 3 granddaughters. We've raised 5 children here in Roswell. And I grew up in Breckenridge, Colorado, and attended school in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, and college in Denver, Colorado. I've owned my own companies, and I enjoy golf and going fishing. But my main policy as mayor is I really want to have an open door policy. And that policy is I want to consider coffee with the mayor on Thursdays. If you got an idea, I want to hear it. I don't know all the answers to all the problems in Roswell. You got problems on your side of town, come talk to me. I set time aside every week. The mayor works for the people, and I will definitely want to talk to everybody. Get elected by the people, want to work for the people. And second thing is our police force. Our police force needs build up. Right now the building needs $13 million worth of work on it. I think we could build a new building for cheaper than that. And where are we going to get the funds? Well, I want to create a department. It's going to be called DOOR, Department of Roswell Expenditures. And I'm going to have somebody in that office that watches how much we pay for toilet paper. Because corporations take advantages of big, government offices. I've seen it time and time and again, corporations that charge a lot of money. Public safety is my other big thing. We need to do neighborhood watches and put together block parties where the mayor comes out or whoever, and we just get to meet everybody, know your neighbors, so it's safe. Thank you for attending tonight.
Mr. Hensley, your opening comments?
Hello. First of all, can you hear me? First of all, thank you all for putting this on. My name is Chris Hensley. I'm running for the office of the city of the I'm running for the office of mayor for the city of Roswell. I'm running for mayor because right now Roswell needs a new direction, and I hope to take Roswell in a new direction as your next mayor. You will never hear complaints about government not having too many ideas or things like that. The universal complaint is always we have the same old folks and the same old ideas, the same old agenda. Well, my mission is for Roswell mayor is to open a new chapter in community involvement and community unity, where I say, and I mean everybody, not just a few, not just those little corners that we all know about, we all hear about, have made decisions for all of us. Apparently for most all of their lives, only some of my life, but certainly all of my children's lives. It's time to seek some new direction. And right now is our opportunity to do it. I want complete transparency in the way every single cent is spent in the city. I too want to help redo the police or build up the police, the fire department, city employees, and things like that. It cost almost $100,000, if y'all didn't know, to get a new employee, from recruiting, training, insurance, whatever, to day one. Well, the thing is, if we just paid them that right from the get-go, we wouldn't be paying that expense a year or two from when we have to recruit new people. So how are we going to do this? We're going to have to come together as a community. So I don't plan on throwing taxes or getting property taxes up and things like that where the council just votes on it. I plan on talking to all the citizens, seeing whatever, putting together a plan, then putting a vote for the citizens to vote for it. Because we're going to need this money. Everybody up here keeps saying we're going to need money for our budget, need money for this. How are we going to do it? Well, I can tell you how we're going to do it. We're going to have to pay for it. But that includes every single citizen, poor, rich, whatever. But we're all going to have to pay for it. But we all need to vote on it. But anyways, I would appreciate your vote as next mayor of Roswell. I'm sorry, I'm kind of in a little pain tonight because my back and my legs. But I sure appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Mayor Jennings, your opening comments?
Well, first of all, thank you all for giving me the opportunity and electing me 4 years ago. I had 4 years of experience on the county commission, 34 years in the Mexico State Senate. And my twin brother was mayor of Roswell on the council for 12 years in Roswell. My other brother, John, was a mayor of Rio Rancho. Between them, I learned an awful lot about city government and things, and so I'm using my experience now to fix Roswell. When we came into Roswell, we had 2 water tanks that were leaking out there, been leaking since 2011. No one cared to fix them. They weren't on their thing. They're the biggest tanks we have, the only way we have for water. We have 161 miles of 10-inch, 8-inch, and 12-inch cast iron pipe. It's been in for 85 years. Its useful life is 40. All the airport was on month-to-month leases because it was cheaper. We had an employee that fired the TSA inspector when he was cited. We were fined $2.5 million. We had a pool that was built over here, and they used second-class stainless steel. So what do we have now? We have pools with rotten stainless steel pipes in it. You know, we had a dehydrator that went out that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix. Plus we had mold everywhere. That's what we were given. The first 2 years of council, I didn't have any help. The last 2 years of council, we've been working together to fix everything. Along came the flood. We lost the Roswell Museum. That's going to cost probably $50 to $70 million to fix, plus the adult center, plus the civic center. We don't have any bonded capacity left because the last council spent it all, went from 30 million in debt to 90, have no capacity. We had the foresight to put in a tax in so we can get the upfront money to fix our museum and civic center and whatever damages we have. It gives us $65 million. We're trying to I've got another letter into the governor to give us at least $75 million more so we can have the upfront money to do FEMA. You know, you look at it, we have a lot of things going on, a lot of things that keep going, but you know, we're moving forward, we're looking after you, and we've got jobs as our #1 goal. Well-Built's got us 300 jobs here, Amazon's got us 100. All the airport leases are in, making money. They are paying month to month, or not month to month, on yearly contracts. They are paying that, and so we are moving well. We've got the air show. We are moving our city in a new direction to go forward, and we're doing it together with all the transparency anybody needs to see. You're welcome to come look, sit at a council meeting or anything else. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you. I look forward to serving you 4 more years.
We'll now ask 6 questions of the mayor candidates. The first question will be asked first of Mr. Clark. Of the issues you think are important to the city council this term, what is the single most important issue you have at the top of your list, and what are your plans to make it happen?
Well, I'm going to attend the city council meetings and definitely push for us to get more of a balanced budget and get our police department where we're paying equal amounts. We're having so many agencies now hiring our new employees right out from under us because they can go down the road 30 miles in Artesia and make $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 a year. So we definitely need to get our police department up to where it needs to be, because safety in this city is at a risk. Because you look at Chicago, they got 4 policemen per 1,000 people. We have nowhere near that. On the road on an average day, we may have 25 policemen out there patrolling 60, 70,000 people. And that's, that's a recipe for crime. So my top priority would be community safety. And my second top priority is I want to have an open platform where you come into my office and talk about what you think is important to the city. Thank you.
Mr. Hensley?
Police and fire, all city employees is one. That's because that's a big provider of jobs here in the city. It's either that or state jobs or federal jobs. We can try to get 100 jobs here, 100 jobs there, or we can try to, take care of the ones we already got. Help lower crime. Children is probably at number one. The median age or the average age for a citizen in Roswell is 32. It's not 64. So it's a young town. We need to get the young parents involved. They have kids that all summer long have missing programs. I'm glad we all made budget cuts to this and that. We had complained about this and that. Well, we need to fix it, but we need to do it together, and we need to start off by helping out these kiddos more. Better funding for the zoo, that stuff got cut. 4th of July entertainment, pool, the hike and spike, things that the different activities that these kids look forward to. They're all, half of them were gutted due to funding issues, and which is fine, I understand, and we're going to need to get the money, but like I said, we need to put it to the people, not just a select few.
Mayor Jennings?
The most important thing we need in our community right now are jobs. Jobs and jobs. And I have to tell you, there is a vote for the college bond. We pay 1 cent less than the other community colleges, one mil less. We need to do that because we're the only one in the state that doesn't do it. We need to do that because they keep wanting to cut us. But if you look at our college, we've got to get more jobs here for people. You look at a company like BuiltWise that came in here. 65% of the BuiltWise company in South Carolina uses women. And to build all those houses, 65% of them are women. Those women are getting $24, $25 an hour, and they can actually have enough money to provide a living for their family. If you look at, those are the kind of jobs we need to find and get them here for Roswell. And our college is working real well with us. We're doing a lot on economic development. Anytime you work with the college on training someone here, they go ahead and they will train anybody's employees. You bring them to them, and they will train your employees to go to work for you. And things are really going well and looking well about the opportunity to get jobs at our base.
The second question we asked first of Mr. Hensley. We are almost 1 year from our city's largest recent natural disaster. What have we learned from the flooding of our city, and how do we address this issue?
Well, sometimes negative things could show what character is, what the character is of the citizens. And whether it was from the Oklahoma City bombing or the September 12th, the day after September 11th, you saw everybody united. Well, obviously what that showed is Roswell can unite. Roswell can pick itself up. But again, we're going to have to do it together. And we can't just just hope it gets done. We've got to do it together. So, but yeah, it showed the character of this town, and that's one thing that everybody here should be proud of. That yes, when the tough gets going, what's the old saying? yeah, but that's it.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Jennings?
Yeah, you know, when you look about the flood and see what happens, we have some other issues that are still out there. If you look, Rocky Arroyo and the Hondo River Channel goes to one part. There are 9.25 miles of space for water to come into the city. At Dick Smith, our old flood engineer, said there's 10,000 cubic feet per second that can come into town. And we have got to get a channel to move that water back to the river and not have it come through town. The only capacity we have for water in that is 1,100 cubic feet per second to go down the Hondo. That's why the water has to be redirected. And FEMA has a program now that they changed this year where they will help you alleviate future floods. And this is the first year they have it. And FEMA, with the confusion that was started at the change of the administrations, they've been slower to get that going. That's the funding we've got to take. It will probably take $40 to $50 million to build a channel that will take the water away from town and between the base and Roswell or around the backside of the base for that 10,000 cubic feet per second.
Mr. Clark?
Yes, the flood in Roswell is a very bad thing, and the community did come together very well. And I agree with Mayor Jennings on this point. I mean, we do need to put together some kind of idea, either it be a dam outside of town, which would hold the runoff, which may be cheaper to build, but we do need to do some kind of flood mitigation so that our citizens do not experience that kind of loss again. Thank God for all the churches and all of the citizens coming together to put everything pretty much back right. I'm not sure, I'm not aware of the city finances, but I'm sure we probably didn't have flood insurance to cover any of the cost on that, and the city is probably biting the bullet on that because flood insurance is very expensive. But that's pretty much what I'm thinking about it.
Okay, the third question we asked first of Mayor Jennings. Our nation, our state, and even our community seem to be divided in this stage of our history. How important is unity at this time, and how can this be accomplished?
I think I'm a living example. I am a Democrat. I'm a very conservative Democrat. My own party doesn't care for me a whole lot. But you know, that's the way people are thinking, Roswell. And when I went to take the problems we had for this audit, I took all the people went with me were with Republicans. Who went to tell them and show the state auditor the problems that we inherited in our administration. And so I don't care what party anybody is. I worked with Pete Domenici, Joe Skeen. I worked with anybody. I worked with Michelle Lujan Grisham because she was a friend of my wife's and mine too. But I mean, I worked with anybody to get the job done. When it came to this air show, that money didn't come out of Roswell's budget. Most of that money came, there was $7 million that came from the tourism department. We had $5 million of airport improvements that came from the highway or the aviation board. So, you know, it's working with people, both sides of the aisle. I don't care who you are. I've got to go to Washington and ask for 161 miles of cast iron pipe repair. It'll be $1 million a mile. That's what happened the way they left us at this base. When they walked off, they left us cold. And that's not right. I'll go see them. I'm ready to go ask for it and get it now.
Mr. Clark.
basically, I think we need to work together with the state, and I agree that it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat. I think we all should have the same goal in mind, and that goal is to what is best for the citizens of the city. So I'm not, I don't understand everything yet because I haven't been in there, but I'm looking forward to get in there.
Mr. Henson?
Hensley. My administration, we'll work with who and whatever we have to. But as far as, that unity in Roswell, I highly doubt that. There's a unity of a class that's starting to leave us or has left us, and there's a huge gap of people who aren't represented or talked to at all. And part of that's their own fault because they don't get involved. So we can work together, but we need somebody with new ideas and a new direction, but who's also going to listen to some and respect their elders as well. But somebody who listens to everybody, because I have a feeling this year's vote, there's going to be a big turnout of younger voters and middle-aged voters and things like that, and they're going to want a new voice. But also one who at the same time doesn't burn bridges. I don't like doing that. So, and I intend to do that. So, thank you.
Okay. The fourth question goes first to Mr. Clark. Our community regularly faces homeless and drug problems. What action do you think the city should take to address these issues?
Homelessness is, we have a coalition in town that handles the homeless people, but you can go down there and ask them to go there, but if they're not breaking any laws, it's against their civil rights to force them to go anywhere. Drug problems in this town, that gets right back to the problem where we're just understaffed on our police departments, and we need to get them up and going, where we got detectives out there on the job trying to get the drugs off the road. And it comes back to neighborhood watches. I mean, if people sit there in your house and you see 15 cars go to your neighbor's house, you might ought to call up the police and say, hey, I think something's going on across the street. You might want to keep an eye on it. That's where I think our neighborhood block parties and our neighborhood watch would be a good thing to do. Thank you.
Mr. Hensley?
Repeat that for me.
Sure. Our community regularly faces homeless and drug problems. What action do you think the city should take in addressing these issues?
Yeah, well, I believe there are some things we can do to help homeless, but also we can create some ordinances. We have good lawyers in this town. There's plenty of them, and we need to sit down and figure out what we can do to help mitigate certain things. I don't know of anybody who doesn't have compassion in Roswell, so of course we want to help and reach out and things like that, but also at the same time we got to have a certain standards, and that's gone on city to city and town to town across America. But for some reason the groups here are just like, it's part of Roswell. Well, it doesn't have to be. And guns or gun violence was the second part of that. Was that?
It's homeless and drugs.
Yeah, drugs. Oh, sorry. Drugs, that goes back to taking care of cops right. Give them the right resources, And I don't know if we can't do it right ourselves. Should we hand it over to the state, hand it over to the county, become better partners with them? I don't know, but we as a city need to do something and do it right, or like I said, we might have to turn it over. I don't know, but we need to do it right, and that's where it starts with that. And also getting back involved with the youth too. I plan on going to elementary schools, things like that, teaching these kids, talking with these kids, that they don't have to go the path that they're going. There is a different way. So, thank you.
Mr. Jennings?
Well, the homeless problem that we have, This is a problem that has to, and actually the drug problem as well. These are problems that have to be solved in Santa Fe. We have to look and we have to do some kind of thing on the mental health situation we have now, so we don't have women running down the street naked in Roswell and, going in to see people. We've got to stop that. That is a problem that is going to have to be addressed by the legislature, and they're going to have to help us fund ways to figure out how to find those people as much help as you can get. Drugs are also a problem there that creates some of the issues, because the people get on drugs and then they lose all sense of reason. But it doesn't really work when we have a place like Sunrise where we bring people in from other areas of the state and they're discharged and they just turn them out the door at Sunrise. So then they walk downtown and they give them $20 for a bus ticket or something. And then they spend the $20 they don't have, so they end up staying here. That's why this has to be a state problem. It has to be worked together through the state and the court system, and they need to address the juvenile problem as well. Maybe we need to open our juvenile detention center back up in Roswell that the county had here before. We probably need that too, because juveniles are out of control as well.
The fifth question we first asked of Mr. Hensley. Every Roswell citizen wants to live in a safe community. In the past 2 years, the police department has hired and trained 66 new officers and lost 66 officers to other agencies after they finish their training. What are your ideas you have on how to keep officers in Roswell once they are trained and out on patrol?
I hate saying it, but that's been kind of one of my themes, that and community, being involved in the community and being transparent. Why wouldn't they leave? For the cost of living that it is here in Roswell, which is, we need to work with some of the local people. And I don't believe Santa Fe is, the answer to everything. We can handle some of our own things, our own self, because many towns and many cities throughout the United States do it without running to their state capital or their national or the nation's capital. We can do some things here, but yeah. Thanks.
Mayor Jennings.
Well, you have a real problem in the state of New Mexico when the governor gives the state police a 15% raise, and it used to be they had to go through the state police academy. Now they're recruiting their state policemen out of our local officers. We have officers in Roswell now with overtime make over $100,000 a year. Over $100,000 a year. And so what happens? The governor gives a 15% raise, they come rob us, and then we have to figure out how to match that. And the only place we have to match increases in firemen's wages is from the other departments. You only have water, wastewater, and solid waste. That's where you have to, and parks. You could take money out of parks. But I mean, that's where the problem is. When the state has all kinds of resources there, they do not share them. Smaller cities like Roswell, Alamogordo, and smaller cities don't have the capital and the resources that come in to pay to pay for those high costs. When she mandates it, that they get a 15% raise, they come and rob us. That's wrong, and that needs to be stopped.
Mr. Clark?
Yes, we definitely need to improve the wages of the policemen, and that's going to be a hard find. I mean, the budget is what the budget is, and that's why we're going to have to create a department which looks at all the expenditures that the town is making, so we can find money to do this. It's a challenging question, but it's a question that we got to solve. I mean, right now that we need policemen really bad, and we need enforcement of our city ordinances. We got a lot of rules and stuff out there. We just don't have the police force to enforce it right now. So we're definitely got to figure out, dig down deep in the budget. If I put together the Department of Roswell expenditures, I promise they're going to ask every employee in this town for a job description, and we're going to try to figure out what we can do to get the budget down where we can pay our policemen to make them stay. That's the only thing that's going to keep them. Thank you.
The sixth and final question of the evening will be asked first of Mayor Jennings. How important is hosting the air races to our community, and have we allocated too much or too little of our resources to this event?
You know, there were 38 cities in this country that applied for the air races. When it came to that, we sent a crew of 10 individuals to the air races, not just for one day, but for all 10 days. And they went to those air races and said, can we do it? We have proven to the air race community that we can not only do it, we can do it with class. And if you go look, that pilots are exceptionally happy with what they found here. The safety is unbelievable for them. They say it's the safest place they've been. And almost every fan that came here from all over, from, you know, these people come from all over the country to come to these air races, and they meet here, and you have pylon judges in one group, you have pilots in another one, you've got mechanics in one, and then you just have the ones that love aviation. And they're all in different groups, and it's amazing how much they do together. And we were very successful in that. There's no doubt in my mind they'll probably never leave here because we have the safest place they can be at. And, you know, it's the two classes that didn't come, a number of their people came and they said, boy, did we really blow it. This place was awesome. We're there, and we're on top of this one, and we're going to stay there. Thank you.
Mr. Clark?
I think the air races are a really good idea because we need a lot of extracurricular things in this town that generate money like that. For the cost of the air races initially, I'm not, you know, the finances were probably handled by the city, and I'm not sure of the details on it, but I'm just looking at how long it's going to take us to recap our money out of that, and could have we used it someplace else in a better place? I don't know, but I feel that we do need to pursue the air races because we've already paid for it. So now at this point, we need to follow through and make sure that we continue on that path. Thank you.
I'm sorry. You through? Mr. Hensley?
I think the air races were or are a great idea, but I think that's very small on the scope of what Roswell should be doing already for our youth, which we've made, like I've said, we've gutted a lot of things. So I'm glad we have some. We would certainly do from day one. I said this airport is underused and things like that. It's amazing to have an Air Force base or an extinct Air Force base at your disposal. But as far as, I don't know, I've heard from vendors and restaurant owners and things like that, they ordered up a month, and they're going to be sitting on their food for a month or two, hoping that it doesn't go rotten, because they expected one thing, and meaning attendance-wise, and they did not receive that, not even near that. And then you know, price gouging and things like that. There's going to be, of course, there's going to be people who own airplanes have the money to do what they want to. But are you going to have a bunch of citizens and stuff drive out to Roswell for it, or up from here or there? I don't know. We'll see. And I want to be positive about it. But that's, like I said, that's not the only thing that Roswell needs is an air show. It's cool that it's here. Let's work with it. Let's do what we got to do. But there's a lot more that we could do for this community, and starting with the youth, and help some of those gutted programs.
At this time, we'll give each of the candidates 2 minutes to share their closing thoughts. Let me call first on Mr. Clark. Your closing comments.
The only thing I'd like to say is that, I feel that we need a department which looks at what we spend on everything, and then I want to have a very transparent office where everybody can come in and talk to me. And we definitely need to work on our police force. And I will work on the city council all the time to try to get the police force more of what they need. And I, as a representative of Roswell, if I get elected mayor, will go out and actively seek companies because we need employment for our younger youth. Roswell's been kind of dubbed a retirement town, but most of our people who live here right now are younger citizens, and they need to come in and get a job here so they can stay and build our community. And other than that, I grew up in a small town, and I think everybody here ought to get to know your neighbor and do neighborhood watch, and let's see if we can't help our police department out. And my office will always be open if you vote for me. I appreciate the Alumni Association for having us tonight, and I appreciate everybody for attending. Thank you.
Mr. Henson, closing thoughts?
This has been really nice evening, so I appreciate I appreciate everybody who's came, who's listening, and I appreciate you all for your time. My closing arguments, we don't need to run to Santa Fe for everything, for our money, for, can they help us with this? Can they help us with that? New Mexico's 122,000 square miles, and people think differently up north. They're always going to think different than they do down there. The reason why, it's a huge state. We can take care of a lot of our stuff here, and we're going to have to find capital, but like I said, the plan is to go to the citizens or put together a good plan first, including from our engineers to our lawyers to whoever, and to put together a good plan, then bring it to the citizens for a vote. But we're going to have money. This isn't 2015. That was 10 years ago. We're coming up on 2026. I look forward in this administration, we're going to be at the cusp of our next census. We all know how much we want to get to 50,000. We're probably over that, to tell you the truth, but half the crowd here in Roswell doesn't want to come out or talk or whatever, because the age gap is so different in our leadership like I said, the average age, it's a fact. I got it right off the Roswell website, it's 32. Okay, average income's 43,000. What does that tell you? We've got lawmakers who've had their time for this, whatever, and then you got all of us citizens, about 70, 80% of us, and then, sitting down here. So we can do this. If the flood showed us anything, it showed Roswell can come together as a town. We can do this, but we're going to have to raise some capital. We'll do it together. I promise you. Please, I've asked you for your vote November 4th.
Mayor Jennings, your closing thoughts?
We haven't been sleeping. And I want you to know that right now, we've been working right on the south and the east side of this base. You can go down there and we have water, sewer, and internet all down the south and east side of that base, where you can go and build a hangar, and you can build 77 hangars or whatever you want right there. Right down that base, they're coming out. We have a plan by private investment to put in maybe up to $100 million airplane museum on 22 acres they've bought south of the base. And it's all coming, all that's there. You turn back around. We've been talking with people about improving the hangar situation at the base, because we need to have general aviation hangars, and about air aviation fuel. If you look at our base, it is being run exactly like a business. And that means if you want to have it, you don't go month to month. You are on a contract, and you sit there and you have to show us, and we can track how many employees they bring into our community. In the past, we haven't really done that. We haven't been that in charge of things and really going. We have got this city turned around. It is moving forward. We have an opportunity to have maybe an AI station out north of town. There are a lot of things going on in Roswell. We have not been asleep at the wheel. There's just not always a lot of times that you can tell everybody everything that's going on. You have to keep it secret at the request of the people who you're working with to bring the jobs in here. So there's a lot of things going on. I thank my council that I have for being so good, and I can tell you, you will never see 147-page audit findings coming out from the administration of this council with this mayor. 147 pages and 100 pages of corrections? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. Thank you.
Okay. On behalf of those here this evening, those watching online and listening on the radio, we appreciate the three of you putting your names in for the mayor position. Good luck to each of you in the upcoming election.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This form will be available to be viewed on Pecos Valley Broadcasting website. It's ksvptv.com. We appreciate them coming out and filming this tonight. We thank again Roswell Independent School District for hosting this. If you have more questions, you can call our city clerk, Cindy Fuller, at 575-624-6614, and also log on to nmvote.com. It'll tell you your voting districts and such. So on behalf of the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association, we want to encourage you to get out and vote, and encourage you to get others to get out and vote. And thank you again for coming this evening. God bless you, and God bless Roswell.
Well, it's nonpartisan. That's the way I look at it.
And that concludes our presentation of Leadership Roswell Alumni Association's Candidate Forum. Thank you to everyone that participated tonight, including our candidates, Leadership Roswell Alumni Association, and everyone here on our staff as well. We'll return you to regular scheduled programming now for Clyde Lewis, and then, of course, I will be back with you tomorrow morning bright and early at 7 a.m. Have a great evening, and we will talk to you tomorrow.